Good
Good
afternoon,
afternoon, ladies and
Madhuparna.
gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
So as it is
Good
3 o'clock,
afternoon.
we'll begin the event.
Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to welcome you all to this e-conference. New trends and technology is the only way forward, not just for horticulture and food processing, but for all the industries. And we have understood this well in the last couple of months. Traditionally in India, food is consumed mostly fresh, and a very small quantity is processed for value addition. However, with the gradual change in trends, the market for processed food is expanding throughout our country. As a result, food consumption patterns have changed from being solely basic items such as grains, fruits and vegetables, eggs, meats, to beverages and processed food due to both increased availability and affordability. Concurrently, there has been an accelerating shift from food security to nutritional security and convenience food in the recent past years. As per Ministry of Food Processing, Government of India data, the food processing industry contributes 1.5% of India's GDP and provides direct employment to 13 million people. The unorganized food processing sector in India comprises of nearly 2.5 million units that contribute 74% of employment in the food processing sector. However, the unorganized food processing and horticulture sector faces a number of challenges limiting the performance and growth, such as lack of access to modern technology, training, access to institutional credit, lack of basic awareness and quality control. As a result, despite the huge potential, the unorganized sector has been contributing much less in terms of value addition and output. This is one of the key areas where new technology upgradation is most needed for smaller processing units. In times of crisis like this pandemic, when the global supply chain faced huge disruptions, the local supply chain has fulfilled our demand, and food processing was no different. This experience has taught us that we must make vocal for local as a mantra of our life. The global brands today were also local someday, but the use of technology and promoting themselves made them global. The local food processing units in our country need the technology intervention to not just buoy through these tough times, but also establish themselves at par with their global counterparts. We are certain that the potential of Indian food processing industry would shine through and reach its deserving global position with a collective effort from the government and industry players. I would now like to welcome all our eminent guests to kindly share their thoughts and deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would request today's moderator, Dr. N.C. Shah. Sir, please start your deliberations and start the moderation. Thank you, sir.
I think you need to unmute. Please unmute.
Yeah, sorry. Very good afternoon to all of you. I'm extremely happy to get this invitation from Indian Chamber of Commerce, Kolkata, to moderate this e-conference on new trends and technology, upgradation for horticulture and food processing industry. In fact, this is my second occasion that I have been requested by the ICC to moderate the session. I was last month also, there was a program on packaging, and today it is on a food processing. And I have a pleasure to moderate because I am also from a CFTRI, and one of my colleague is here, Mr. Subhash Bhattacharya. He is also from CFTRI, and that makes a pleasure about the food processing and packaging, how it is really interconnected. I find there's a very galaxy of the speakers today, almost the 9 speakers who will be talking on the food processing technology and trends, what's really happening to the country. As our president of ICC, Mr. Jalan, has mentioned about the food processing industry is the way forward, what's the process government of India is thinking. I believe that India is one of the largest producer of the range of agricultural products, and the global population grows and the demand for India food is also rising. India is considered, all of you know that it is considered to be a food factory of the world. The India's food processing sector is one of the largest world, and it lies the heart of government of India, Make in India and all. Yeah. While you talk about the technology and trends, what we find, the traditional foods, mainly the ethnic foods, are getting the popularity. A blend of traditional technology, the modern techniques also making a wide variety of choice. More importantly, what we find when you talk about the thermal processing technique, mainly the canning and retort packaging, which is very common to enhance the shelf life. But in the recently, there are certain technologies like non-thermal processing technique, such as high pressure processing, which is called HPP, the pulse electric fields, the PEF, and UV sterilization, which becoming very popular to enhance the shelf life of foods. In addition, the freeze drying technique for meat and fish products are also becoming popular. With this objective, I believe that why this thermal, non-thermal processing is coming, just to retain this quality in terms of the sensitive evaluation, and that's why this technology is going up. With this introductory remark, now I would request Mr. Aditya Bagri. I'm sure he will be here, who is the co-chairman of ICC Agriculture and Food Processing Committee, to make the address. Mr. Bagri will make this keynote address. Mr. Bagri is here.
He would be joining shortly. Sir, you can
Should I go ahead? Should I go ahead?
Yeah. Please, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. So let's start this technical presentation. I believe the first speaker is Mr. Dr. Subodh Jindal, who is a very known figure. He is the president of All India Food Processors Association. Dr. Jindal, we know each other for the last 30 years. Dr. Jindal is the president and also the chairman of the Taxation and Foreign Trade Committee. He is a food processor over the last 38 years. Dr. Jindal is well versed in the operation of food industry and has made immense contribution to the growth of this sector, and as a member of the government and the industry bodies. Dr. Jindal has chaired and many seminar and conference, and he has got a tremendous contribution for the growth of the food processing industry in the country. Now I would request Dr. Jindal to make an overview about that. What is the Indian food processing industries? What are the trends and the technology development is required for really to take the mission, and what is the vision has been already earmarked by the Food Processing Ministry, Government of India. Over to Dr. Jindal. Dr. Jindal is here?
Yes, sir, he is there.
Okay.
Dr. Jindal, can you hear us? Dr. Subodh Jindal?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. We are listening,
Hello.
Dr. Jindal. You can speak up.
Okay. Thank you. It is to our existence, and humans have always experimented with food, discovered new ingredients and new ways of combining and preparing them for sustainable consumption. In this endeavor, man developed science and technologies to improve upon food materials and processes. Let's look at this discussion.
Your audio is some problem. Can you look into that? Dr. Jindal, your audio is not clear.
Dr. Jindal, can you hear us? Dr. Jindal, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. If
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
able to
Now
hear
it's,
me, I don't know what.
yeah, now it's clear. You can
Okay.
speak up. Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay, friends, new trends and new technologies emerge from changing needs and challenges. One challenge that stands out today more than ever before is to build immunity and protect against disease and rapidly increasing environmental hazards. Bringing the focus to nutrition and immunity, we find that India is home to a wide range of natural nutrients and superfoods, be it spices, herbs, fruits, nuts, flowers, honey, ghee, millets, seeds, rhizomes, roots, legumes, of which we have vast heritage. A few specific examples of the
Sir, can
new
I
trend
interrupt, please?
of,
Dr.
please,
Jindal?
yes.
Sir, your voice is still not clear. Maybe some network issue. So, can you just look into it?
Sanjay, if he switches off his video, then the sound should be much clearer.
His video is
Okay,
already off.
okay.
Yeah, Mr. Jindal, please switch off your video
I will,
so that your audio would be much clear.
okay, 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 good. Thank you, thank you. I have switched off the video. Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. Hello, hello.
Yeah. Please
Yeah,
speak up.
sure. Now, I was just saying that to give a few specific examples of the new trend on building up nutrition and immunity, we can quote fruit drinks containing whey proteins, plant proteins combined with omega-3, ice creams with extracts of ashwagandha, turmeric, honey with cinnamon and saffron, snacks made of millets, oats, gourd, and spices, fortified and spiced tea, juices of amla, aloe vera, wheat germ, giloy. New ideas are evolving, every day. Now, this is a trend which is getting
It's not audible.
I think we should move on to the next speaker and we can come back to Mr. Jindal once the line becomes clear.
Okay. I think so because the time is a very constraint for us. So I'll move on to the next speaker is Mr. Rajesh Goel. He's the president of Federation of Cold Storage Association of India, where the cold storage becomes a very important component to enhance the shelf life of food products, and mainly the fresh produce where we need a very efficient cold storage system. So I would request Mr. Rajesh Goel to give an overview about that Indian scenario, what is the cold storage status and how really it is helpful. Over to Rajesh Goel.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am Rajesh Goel, President Federation, and I'm thankful to the Indian Chamber of Commerce for organizing such an important webinar at a very important time. There is a Hindi saying, "Avashyakta Avishkaron ki jani hai," and this Corona has taught us that the new trends and technologies have emerged and will emerge in the near future for the processes. Many due to lockdown, COVID condition, but still, as we were in the very situation of where we like during the COVID era. So we were just meant that our cold storage members were very successful in maintaining the supply chain. But the technologies and what we are now feeling is that now we have to switch over to some new technologies, new trends, because now the labor input, we have to cut down our labors. We have to go to some new technology with the less labor. We can't just have and insulation, related to our energy efficiency, related to our ventilation, all the cold storage which are run on these basic concepts. So we have to change them. We have to now upgrade them. That is what we have learned from this Corona era, that the technology which will be there. Now we have to adopt some global technologies also, and there are many company people also are here. They are Mr. Raghav is here from Trick. He knows very and seminars every year or twice a year in the interest of the members, so that they can upgrade themselves, they can modify themselves. And we are thankful to the state government and the central government. Subsidy, this new cold storages, new industries, and for modification also. And just now we have seen that our Prime Minister has also given us 1 lakh crores for the Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, and some interest subvention scheme is also there. So that makes things simpler for us. Now what we need is the awareness programs for all our members, so that the people can learn what all the schemes have come up that can go to masses, and the maximum number of people can be benefited by that, and they can adopt new technology. Now we are the awareness, the basic so can go state government and central government where seminars, or they should send some literatures to the entire cold storage industry, so that backward linkage and forward integration we can work on, and we can come up with the technologies and the units which have both the backward linkage also and the forward also, so that we can the food processing which is lacking. Much of our agriculture products like tomato, potato, or onion, sometimes or very frequently, once or twice a year, the inflation goes very down. Or so we require food processing industries at the time, and the maximum use of which we can get by these storages is that we converted them into semi-processing and a processing, for which government has come up with the schemes. The new trends are coming up, and we have to learn from this. It will take time. I think if the awareness schemes and this, just like Indian Chamber of Commerce has now organized it, if it is going on regularly, our federation is also organizing and just trying to impress the members that these are the schemes, and so that the people can come up and then come up with new technologies and then meet the global standards also. Or this is all going on the cold storages, and we are regularly working with all our members through our social media and through the webinars, and we are taking help from the expert consultants from all over India. Some bigger companies have also come up, and they are also displaying what is going on and what can be done in the interest of the better technologies and what the central government and state government is asking from us. This is all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for giving us insight about what's really your federation is doing. It's true that today we are in a distress condition, but I always believe any problem, it leads to an opportunity. It's also give a big lesson. We understand that there is a shortage of manpower, and with a limited manpower, how really you can make an efficiency in the cold storage. I think you are trying to hint about that automation will become a need of the hour, and maybe this needs to be understand at your federation level, and also the Indian Chamber of Commerce to do the various awareness program, the various schemes, how really we can make an automation and how we can make more efficient cold storage system. Thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh. Now I go to the next speaker is Mr. Rakesh Raghava, who is the General Manager of Frick India Limited. Frick India Limited is the largest equipment manufacturing company, and they also provide a turnkey solution for the industrial refrigeration application. I think Rajesh will cover about the cold chain system, about I think what are the machinery here we're providing to have an efficient system. Over to Mr. Rakesh Raghav.
Okay. Good evening to all. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you can speak. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning to all, and I give thanks to ICC for providing us opportunity to give some of our views on new technology upgradation trend in horticulture and food processing industries. So this is you see, basically now the scene is for green cold chain system. To streamline, well-maintained green cold system can deliver a produce throughout the year. Reduce post-harvest losses, ensuring uninterrupted supply availability across the various parts of the country can be guaranteed, reduce cost and improve product integrity, increase customer satisfaction, reduce wastage, and prevent the global warming effect. Okay. Okay. And for this, the benefit of green cold chain. Without green cold chain, you see facilities regarding facility, very low facility, low quality, lack of designated market, poor infrastructure, skill gap, and through this cold chain system, our vision is to doubling the farmers' income. So that cold chain infrastructure includes, someone was asking, Mr. Patel was asking to speak in Hindi. If somebody, if there is no objection, can I speak in English?
Yeah, you can speak in
Okay.
Hindi, no problem.
Yeah, sure. So it will be mix only. तो अगर फार्मर्स की इनकम को डबल करना है तो उसमें बहुत सी चीजें आएंगी. मॉडर्न इरिगेशन फैसिलिटी भी आएगी, वेरियस फैसिलिटी टू फार्मर्स देना पड़ेगा, एग्री इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्टोरेज सिस्टम भी देना पड़ेगा, एनर्जी सेविंग रेफ्रिजरेशन सॉल्यूशन देने पड़ेंगे, बेटर सप्लाई चेन मैनेजमेंट को देखना होगा, एंड स्किल डेवलपमेंट एंड ट्रेनिंग भी देना पड़ेगा. एंड फॉर दिस cold chain industry, you see opportunities in cold chain industry. Opportunities in cold chain industries and challenges also covered in this industry. You see, आपको challenge भी इसमें देखना पड़ेगा. तो controlled atmosphere is there, modified atmosphere cold stores are there, expansion of cold store there for the storage life of perishable goods, any vegetable or fruits. So new technology for storage, processing grade potato आजकल अलग से ट्रेंड चला हुआ है, काफी डिमांड है. लो कॉस्ट सॉल्यूशन फॉर प्री कूलिंग एट फार्म लेवल पे प्री कूलिंग की रिक्वायरमेंट बढ़ती जा रही है, और जहां पे भी बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स आते हैं मेगा फूड पार्क, तो दैट प्री कूलिंग इज वेरी बेनिफिशियल फॉर द टू सेव द लाइफ ऑफ द वेजिटेबल्स एंड फ्रूट्स एट द फार्म लेवल ओनली.
राकेश जी, देयर आर ए मैसेज कि कुछ पार्टिसिपेंट इनको हिंदी नहीं समझ में आता है बिकॉज ये इंडियन नहीं है.
ओके.
तो आप you can speak in English.
English only. Okay, sir. No problem. And this low-cost solution for pre-cooling at farm level, we can provide product. Can be given modern pack houses and ripening chambers can be added. Innovation, cost effectiveness, and service support in refer technology. Low-cost technology for automation of operations in a cold storage. And you see, this is the opportunities of cold stores, cold chain only, and efficient handling of if lack of road infrastructure in rural areas to be improved, and availability of skilled manpower to be manpower to be upgraded, uneven distribution of cold chain is to be seen, technology availability, high capital investment, intermittent power supply and overhead cost, management of different temperatures. Main thing is the management of different temperatures we have to see. Awareness and mindset is to be changed for the farmers as well as for the entrepreneur. Inadequate farm gate and mobile infrastructure, monitoring and traceability of the produce. And different routes are there. I have shown this here 6 routes for green cold chain. rural collection center and bulk package in farm to transport, through transport only, cleaning, sorting, grading, packaging, pre-cooling, cold store, ripening, and through refrigerated trucks, distribution center, supermarket, retailers. Like second is cleaning, sorting, grading, packing, and sea of storage. After that, refrigerated transport and the distribution center and supermarket. And third is cleaning, sorting, grading, packing, short-term storage. We can do processing and freezing. We can do bulk packaging, storage is there. And after that, distribution center, supermarket, retailers. And fourth is processed packaging and frozen foods. After that, through transport to the distribution centers. Cleaning, sorting, grading, and into the cold store and dry karke, you can, after drying, you can send to the market also. And next, in the last is processed packaging and frozen food, air conditioning, air conditioned or ventilatory storage to the transport and to the distribution center. Different stages of product value chain and losses incurred. You see, after harvesting, from harvesting and collecting, after harvesting and collecting to the supply to the consumer, at least minimum approximate 40% losses are there. We can save through this cold chain system. Component of green cold chain logistics, farmers to rural RCC centers, rural connection center, farmers we can collect, farmer can send its produce to the RCC center. From RCC center, you see these processing centers, sorting and grading, ripening, fumigation, chilling, pre-cooled, pre-cooked and pre-prepared foods, freezing, pasteurizing, packaging, pulp juice, concentrate, storage, traceability and branding to the multi-purpose cold storage in the after the rural collection center. So this is a chain. After multi-cold storage, the retail store, the consumers, and rural, you can send direct to the retail store from the RCC also, or from the PSCs also. Wherever PSC is you see, for the farmers only. And layout of it, we just have shown you a layout of typical green cold chain layout. You can see fruits, milk or vegetables being collected at rural RCC centers. That facility should be with cold storage, whether it's egg, potato, fish, whatever it is. And after that, mega food people we can send it to mega food park producers with cold store facilities, processing facilities from the RCC center only. That RCC is very important. And from mega food to, we can send it to different locations like multi-purpose, multi-temperature distribution center, and for post-value added processing like cooked food centers. So that can be sent it to from the mega food park to the, because in mega food park, we have, you see, collected from the farmers, from the RCC, and to the processors, and to the retailers, or to the, and in the end, you can send it to the farmer. It goes to the farmer also, after cooking, after branding, after everything. And the waste can also be utilized in the farming. Next is backward and forward linkages. Goyal साहब ने बोला था, that can be seen, that forward, the backward and forward. Backward में farmer growth is there, and in forward, that entrepreneur industry growth is there. Rural collection centers, milk, fruit, fresh fruits, vegetables, etc. to urban, to juices, cereals, vaccine, medicines, cloth, whatever it is. Lot of things are there. RCC, concept and setting up. Rural collection center, concept and setting up. What is a rural collection center? A facility to provide a collection, grading, packing, and chilling facility for the perishable or non-perishable commodity. As of 2018, we have taken the record of 2018, 700 districts all over the country. Each district can have at least one more, depending upon the size of one more RCC center, depending on the size of the district. So that farmer can send his produce to the RCC. Each district collection center will be modeled on a private, cooperative, ownership, provided that land that is the government issue. Land should be there, that or you see ownership issue is there, but private players like cooperatives, private entrepreneurship, and they can have these RCC centers also. Private players like Amazon, Walmart, Metro, and other e-commerce portals will be direct buyer from this hub. Main thing is this. And other buyers such as a mega food park and those under Kisan Samdaya scheme, they can also be benefited. Value addition units in food processing, retail sector will also buy directly. Direct exporters, MOFPI and government can give them subsidy and increase to encourage the entrepreneur also and to the farmer also. Rural Culture Center focus to be on the following: to set up a FSI compliant facility for vegetable in the area. That is the main thing. Area wise, this should be there. Area, suppose somewhere some vegetables are available, somewhere some fruits are available. Development of milk chilling centers, egg and other poultry feeds, fruits, spices, raw ingredients for food processing, basing, sorting, grading, and processing. Packaging for delivery, established source of the produce and method of farming, both required for FSA certification. Facilities for short-term storage also. Ownership RCC. Private entrepreneurs can do, cooperatives can do, district admission, subcontracting operation. They can also do. Owner to have registration with the FSAI with quality assurance certifications. That's the more important. Rural Culture Center setting up, RCC will have the following: receiving area with sorting, grading, and packaging, pre-cooling, hydro-cooling rooms, depending upon the produce. You see, in North also, very the carrot people are doing hydro-cooling also before sending their carrot to the market. Cold rooms with required temperature and humidity, ripening chamber depending upon the produce, short-term storage and handling in some specific areas, controlled atmosphere area facility in hilly state for the stone fruits. Rural Collection Center models. Horticulture produce storage facility come milk chilling centers, A model. B model, horticulture produce storage facility come milk chilling center with IQF and frozen chamber. Third is model C, horticulture produce storage facility come CS storage. These are the suggestive, you see, models that can be very according to the requirement. And immediate benefits, direct increase in the income to the local farmers, especially marginal farmers, because rural centers, they will send its produce to the rural center, not to the mandi like far away from their produce. Production area.
You have to wrap up. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sir. And standardization of quality assurance and waste management, efficient use of transportation cost, ripening of nutrient roots, and increase of per capita income of the fruit and vegetable growers. And same is the long-term benefits also there. Everybody knows. And waste management can be managed by these things. Waste management that can be good. Wastage can be sent to the farmers also through this mega food park. How we can do cold chain? Through mega food park, food processing, fruit, vegetable freezing, multi-purpose cold storage, pre-cooling facility, dairy units, etc. Layout, something like that layout is there. Benefits of a multi-purpose cold storage, round the year operation hota is there. Better utilization of ration system, higher rate of short-term storage, like this. Processing centers for vegetables or fruits or fish, etc. And same processing center, cold store, anti-room. Anti-room, well, sir, is here. Anti-room is very good idea, good thing for the cold storage. Processing centers, ripening, freezing, packaging, pre-cooked and prepared foods. Cold storage, modern racking system is there. Cold storage on old pattern system is there. And technology development with eco-friendly and energy efficient refrigeration system we can provide. We can provide with the screws, our own screws. Japan, we have got a tie-up with the Japan also. Recips, all cast iron body recips with high speed and with the bearings and units with 6/8. You see, more good tube size with a good tube size of 6/8 and condensers, evaporative hot dip galvanized condensers, latest, and recirculation system we are already giving. in Agra, goes up with knows very well. Automation of refrigeration plant, that can be key thing. This is the energy saving system. Automation of refrigeration plant, VFD, we can use VFD also, PLCs, and VFD for compressors.
Rakeshji, or PPT can be shared to the participants so they can.
Okay,
go
sir.
through. Yeah.
It's finished, sir. It's finished, sir. Just I will mention one more thing. You see, natural refrigerant, we should use natural refrigerant, sir. You see, just see the PPT. 1834 mein jo we used to CO2, NH3, SC gases. Now again we are coming 2020 to CO2, ammonia, and SC gases. You see, and the best thing is the ammonia is less than, global warming is less than 1 according to this chart. You just see. So this is the more beneficial gas. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Giving me the point.
Thank you, Rakesh. It's a very informative presentation, but unfortunately, because of the constraint of time, I have to really disturb you that you have to stop it. But I would request the ICC can circulate this PPT, the PowerPoint presentation, the slides to the participants, and that will be very beneficial for all of them. Because it was a very informative presentation, but due to the shortage of time, we could not go through in a detail. But what I can say in 2 words, that he has really covered about the importance and the benefits of the multi-purpose cold storage system and how really the different model can function. But he was trying to highlight that when the government of India has already done number of mega food park, why not the cold storage can be there? So that becomes very easy to control it. And that's why he has given the name called green cold chain layout system also he has told. Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh Raghav, for being a nice presentation on the system for how can really we improvise the technology of the food processing industry. I'll just move on to the next speaker, who is Mr. Sri Krishna Ozarkar. He is the business head of the Fruits and Vegetable Division, Neologic Engineers Private Limited. This is a company which is a leading global provider for the process solution automation for the food, pharma, and cosmetics. Their corporate office is in Pune, Maharashtra, and also this is I believe they have a office in Southeast Asia and Africa and US. He is going to cover about the multi-fruit processing and advanced heating and cooling solution. So over to Sri Krishna Ozarkar. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Saha, and welcome all the panelists, distinguished guests, and thanks to Mr. Mayank Jala organizing this beautiful webinar. I'll straight away move away to our topic. So as Dr. Saha mentioned that we are Neologic, and few lines about us. We are a leading global provider of the latest process solutions and automation for the food, pharma, and cosmetics. We have office and manufacturing facility in Pune, that is Maharashtra, and our clients are catered across Southeast Asia, Gulf, Africa, USA, and also Europe. The areas we cover is dairy, beverages, food, fruits and vegetable. So that covers all the processing items. We have our international partners. Fenco is a well-known company from Italy, and they have been giant in food processing or fruits and vegetable processing since last 35, 36 years. And Alfa Laval, of course, Alfa Laval from Sweden. We are authorized integrator for Alfa Laval Sweden. These are few of some clients, esteemed clients. You can see it's like who's who in the industry. So agenda, we will cover what is the fruit scenario in India. What are the typical processing lines? We'll also see why we should have multi-fruit processing lines, and we'll see advanced heating and cooling solutions. That is what we call as a spiral technology. So first about the fruit scenario in India. India, as we all know, is the second largest producer of tropical fruits in the world. Although we are the second largest producer in the world, we rank among the last few in terms of processing or in terms of conservation and preservation. The need of the hour is to process the fruits and vegetables. Mango is the most popular and choicest fruit in India, and that occupies almost 60% of total area under the fruits. The major production areas in the country, in the states are Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Karnataka, UP, Bihar, and MP. And India is also the major exporter of the fruits in the world. So why we have to process the fruits and vegetables? First and foremost, all have seen a lot of farmers throwing away the crop on the road because they're able to get the price or they're not able to get the correct rate. So sustainable agriculture that is guaranteeing the income the farmers is first and foremost important aspect to process the fruits and vegetables. Second aspect, which we already mentioned, is substantial reduction in the wastage. Because when you are processing, there will be substantial reduction in the wastage. Third, increased shelf life. If I'm going to process the purees or pulp into aseptic bags that can have shelf life of 2 years, nothing like that. I can use this throughout 2 years, whether there is a pandemic, whether there is a shortage of the monsoon, still we can have the purees stored in the aseptic bags. Fourth, global reach. I may not have the mangoes exported to Canada or Gulf countries all the time, but I can always export my mango puree to Gulf, Canada, or USA, or wherever I want. And again, that throughout the year, because it has got a shelf life of 2 years, the transportation is not an issue. So let's have a look at some of the fruit processing lines. So typically India has got tropical fruits, which are like mango, guava, papaya, sapota, that is chiku, and also tomato. Tomato we can vegetables. And when I say the tropical fruits, I can process them into puree, nectar, or juices, clear juice, like apple drink, that is juice, or dry fruits. So all in terms of tropical fruit processing. Again, citrus fruits, we have citrus fruits, lemon, orange, sweet lime, or quinoa. These all can be processed on a single line. Similar fruits, citrus fruits. They can be processed for clear juices as well as for the essential oils. We can also have the candies. These can be natural ones or sugar candies. And then we can have jams and marmalades. And the latest trend in this is the jams or marmalades with the whole fruits inserted in that. About vegetable processing lines, we have tomato. Tomato can be processed into juice or tomato paste, which is a basic ingredient for tomato ketchups and sauces. Then ketchups, peeled tomatoes, and although there is also diced tomatoes. Potato chips, fries, we all know how popular are French fries and chips. The portion products. So the again is the portion leafy vegetables. If I cut the leafy vegetables, I'm trying to lose my nutrients in that. So what I do, I compress the whole leafy vegetables into the portion. So that can be cube, that can be cylinder, and then this goes for the cold chain. So this is one of the popular trends which is coming very fast now. And then fresh cut salads. This has become an everyday requirement now, so that all the people in the metro cities especially can cater to this. So why to have multi-fruit processing lines? Suppose we have typical mango line, which is going to process only mango. So mango comes only 2 months in a year or maximum 3 months in a year. But I can increase the viability of that plant or the processing capacity of that plant by running it for different fruits, actually for 8 to 9 months. So I can process on the same line guava, I can process sapota, I can process tomato, I can process papaya. So that is the reason that we should have multi-fruit processing lines. That is also going to give me faster return on investment. And actually, if I have a single line of say mango processing, that can be converted to multi-fruit processing line just by adding 20% additional machines. And these machines can be custom built to suit the availability, product configuration, and overlapping of the seasons. So let's have a look at multi-fruit processing lines, typical multi-fruit processing line. I will start with the single fruit processing line and just see how we can convert that into a multi-fruit processing line. So this is the receiving section, which can be a flume. It can be received through crates or it can be received directly through the trucks. these fruits are then gone for the washing. There can be primary washer as a secondary washer, and this can be cleaned completely for the further processing. After primary and secondary fruit washer, we have sorting and cutting. For tomatoes, when I'm using hot break technology, I'm not cutting the tomato, I'm not chopping the tomato, I'm directly passing it. So this is what you see, the sorting of the conveyor, sorting of the tomatoes, and what you see on the top is the west of the tomatoes. On the bottom side, you can see a typical mango cutting line that is around 10 tons per hour cutting line. Then these fruits are gone for slat elevator. So slat elevator will carry those fruits either in cut portion or uncut portion to the destoner. So this is a typical destoner, which is, so the function of the destoner is to remove the stone and peel of mango and give the fibrous pulp to the next station. So next we have pulper and finisher. We refine the pulp to the desired requirement. Based on the configuration of the screen, we can have the desired pulp. We have buffer tanks to store the pulp. Then we go for preheater. So preheater is going to heat my pulp from room temperature to up to 55 degrees, because that is the ideal temperature for separating my black specks or separating my heavy fibers from the mango pulp. And that particular is done in a decanter. So decanter will separate those heavier particles, black specks from the mango to the regular puree. From decanter, standardization tank, we get of the pulp over here. Then for aseptic sterilizer. So aseptic sterilizer is going to sterilize my mango puree or the multifruit puree, what I'm going to process, to desired sterilization temperature, which can be 130, 140, 120, depending on what the product is. And there is no oxygen contact, there is no atmospheric contact. That is why it is called as aseptic sterilizer. From aseptic sterilizer, I go to aseptic filler. So aseptic filler is going to pack or fill the pulp into aseptic bag, which is pre-sterilized with gamma rays. So there is again no contact of oxygen, and it is in the inner chamber. So what you see on the picture is two heads. So it is a double-headed filler. One head is actually 1000 kgs filler, and second head is 220 kg filler, because we have different bags for 1000 kg and 220 kg, which is the standard in the aseptic lines. From aseptic filler, it will go to ambient storage. So this is my typical line of mango. Now I want to convert or increase my viability of this particular line into multi-fruit processing line. Then what I do, I just add a few machines. So I add hammer chopper that can be used for guava, or it can be also used for cold break tomato. So here you can see a typical hammer chopper under construction. Then I add hot break. So what is hot break? So hot break is inactivation of enzymes within the tomato to give a good consistency and color, which is a basic requirement for all our ketchups. So we all like ketchup, which is thick, which is very red and brown in color, and this is achieved only by the hot break. And then I add turbo refiner. So turbo refiner is a centrifugal which separates peel and seeds of tomato and other fruits. That is what it does.
Mr.
So
Sri Krishna, I would request if you can wrap up within 3 minutes. Yeah.
Pardon?
Can you wrap up the whole thing by another 2-3 minutes time?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So this is our typical line of multi-fruit processing line. The facts, we can have the lines of 3 tons per hour to 60 tons per hour. We can also give 500 kgs or 1 ton, but that is not financially viable. Our final products can be packed into 3 kg, 5 kg, 20 kg, 220 kg, or 1000 kg with a shelf life of 2 years. And a typical area required, including the raw material and finished goods storage, is around 4 acres for this. So this is about multi-fruit processing lines. We'll just touch base in few minutes, 2 minutes, about advanced heating and cooling, that is spiral technology. So the picture you see over here is a linear tunnel, which is occupying a space of 2.5 meters by 27 meters. And that is only for 2 tons per hour of cans for sterilizing or pasteurizing those this thing. And what I see over here is a spiral typically used for bread cooling, which is in stacking or multi-layer condition. So what I'm using the vertical space and saving the horizontal space in this thing. So the same tunnel, linear tunnel which we saw is replaced by kind of spiral cooler, which is cooling the hot filled pouches. So there are a few operations of the principles of operation: overdrive, side drive. Direct drive is a patented technology developed by Interlocks USA company, and we are authorized partners for that. The typical applications: cooling of cheese, paneer, ice cream cooling, ice cream hardening, meat, poultry, seafood, all this cooling for cold store and freezing. Again, bakery items coming from oven, cool to room temperature. It can be cakes, it can be biscuits, it can be bread. Again, curd cooling, ketchup, sauces, all this ready to eat. Whatever these pouches you see available in the market are typically cooled on these lines. And then we are also into personal care cooling. So benefits of spiral solutions: energy efficient, least smaller footprint as we saw, low water consumption, low maintenance, operational cost efficiency, and no special flooring required. These are some of our installations all over the typical.
Yes, you can avoid this. Yeah.
Last two slides, sir. 500 installations all over the world. And you can also see a few of our esteemed clients like Heinz, PepsiCo, Unilever, Nestle, Tasty Bite, and Chitle. So just to recap, why multi-food processing lines? To increase the viability of our plant, and why spiral solution? To have the space and energy efficient solutions. Thank you. You can contact and we can have question answer session later in the meeting. Thank you, Dr. Sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sri Krishna. I really feel that it's very injustice to the speaker. You're all the eminent speaker here, but I believe the organizer has put almost 9 technical speakers with a very short moment of time. So it really very injustice, but all of you are giving a very informative session. I would only once again request the ICC can circulate the presentation to all the participants. That will be much more helpful to all of them.
Thank you.
The new logic.
We will definitely do that.
Yeah,
we will definitely do that.
Neologic has covered 2 important things, which I believe very important for the participants. One was the portion products, how really leafy vegetables can be made in a cylindrical shape or a square shape. That's something new, I believe. One is to really think of it, how it can be transported for going from the place to the processing line. And also, of course, the spiral solution, he says, and that is really required when you have a shortage of space in your processing line. So these 2 are really important. And I believe there are much more information what is given to him. And this is for the benefit for the participants. Thank you so much to Mr. Sri Krishna for giving a nice presentation. I'll move on to the next speaker. Again, he's from the machinery segment, Mr. Girish Bajaj. He's the director, Bajaj Process Pack Limited. And this company has got experience in the food processing and packaging over the decades. Of course, I know Mr. Girish for the last 25 years. And over the years, he adopted, the company has grown and integrated latest technology available and collaborated with many international players. He is going to touch upon about the state of the art technology for the food processing line, what he has done over the year. Over to Mr. Girish Bajaj.
Sir, before that, just on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, we welcome Mr. B. Pradhan, who has already joined us, the Special Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, my sincere apologies for because I was there in a PMO meeting. And again, I would request you, I may be excused around 4:45. Another meeting is there from 5 o'clock. So,
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Bye for 4:45.
I will be there, in this August gathering as a listener. So there is a lot to learn, but my apologies for my delayed, presence.
Sir, you want to address in advance, which I can do it?
Hey, nothing, sir. Sir, I will be there as a listener. If anybody has any question to the government of India, to the Agriculture Ministry, I will respond as and when it comes. But sir, please excuse me at 4:45, sir.
Sure. Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now over to Bajaj. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Girish Bajaj, and I'm the director of Bajaj Process Pack Limited. And thank you to the Indian Chamber of Commerce for providing this opportunity for me to speak at this gathering. So what I would like to start with is a brief introduction about my company. Bajaj Process Pack Limited was founded way back in 1988, and over the last 32 years, we have proudly set up more than about 600 small to medium scale processing, food processing and beverage processing companies across the world. We have over the years adapted and integrated technologies from world over, but we are very proud to say that we are 100% Indian owned, working in this field for the last 32 years. And I believe that with the new thrust being given to Indian companies and Indian technologies, I'm sure we would be one of the leaders in the times to come.
Sure.
We have units in Delhi NCR, which is located in Uttar Pradesh, and we have the state-of-the-art manufacturing, machinery manufacturing and processing facilities for fabrication and machining, and our head office is at Noida. Now, to straight off take on, we are very much focused on the fruits and vegetable processing industry, and we cater to about 4 or 5 different of the fruit processing value addition chain. The first one being processing fruits and vegetables into pulp, puree, paste, juice concentrates, jams, ketchups, dehydrated fruits, and then packaging them into cans, bottles, and pouches. So as a company, we offer complete farm to table engineering, that is from fresh fruit to end packaging. We do the entire gamut. The second process that we do is beverage processing and packaging, specifically for juices, energy drinks, and up to their packaging. The third one we also do is a segment which has a lot of presence in India, but has been slightly ignored, which is the mithai, sweets, and central kitchens. Now, this again is an industry which provides a lot of employment, which processes a lot of food, and yet it has been labor-oriented for decades together. So this is one segment that we do very small to medium scale milk processing plants. And we also do automatic or semi-automatic washing, grading, sorting lines for fresh fruits and vegetables. In the last 32 years, it's been our privilege to be able to work with almost all of the leading and major national and international companies. Some of the brands I display for your reference. But besides these, we are also proud to be associated with almost 600 plus companies whose brands may not be national brands, but these are regional players who are doing equally good work in this field and also are helping value add the agricultural produce. So some of the names, just for your reference, these are the large enterprises that we work with. Besides India, we also work in Africa mainly, and we've set up in more than about 30 countries across the world. Now, the first segment that I talked about is, can we process fruits and vegetables into value addition? The answer is yes. The biggest problem that we see across, even in the lockdown, was the perishability of the fruits and vegetables, which is the biggest problem facing the entire country. We are the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables, yet we process only about 7 to 8%. This is way much lesser than industry averages or global averages of 30 to 40%, which is done in Malaysia and Thailand, which are much smaller countries. So in here, what can we do about these fruits? The tropical fruits that India grows, we can convert them into pulp, which we already do. We can convert them into concentrates, tomato paste, tomato concentrate. Similarly, we can then package them in various forms of packaging so that we can provide shelf life of up to 1 year. Now, in this, what we do is we believe that India is not just large-scale enterprise. We also feel that the Indian food processing, as somebody mentioned in the beginning, also comprises of 2.5 million small to medium enterprises, which provide 74% employment. So we provide processing and packaging equipments from capacities of 200 kgs per hour up to 10 metric tons per hour. Now, a typical process flow would typically look at the fruits from being sorted, washed, inspected, crushed, pulped. Then there is a preheater, then you pasteurize, and in the end, or you concentrate depending on the product that you're handling. So if it's tomato, we concentrate. If it's mango, sometimes mostly it is single strength. So at the end of it, then we end up packaging the same, and the packaging can be in bottles, it can be in aseptic drums, and it can also be in cans. Typically, plants or projects would look like this is the evaporators. These are the processing, the semi-automatic canning lines, washing systems, and so on. Second value addition that we can do in fruits and vegetables that is being done across is the dehydration. Now, as we all know, dehydration is one of the most traditional forms of drying. We all have seen our grandparents dry foods to preserve at our homes. The same process, the same physics behind it is only needed to be regularized or mechanized to make it commercial scale. So here again, the vegetables are washed, they are dried, then they are blanched, and then if it's fruit, then it's vacuum impregnated. And then there are different drying technologies which are available. One is the very traditional method of doing is in tray dryers. Then there is a vacuum dehydration technology. Then there is continuous belt drying technologies. So typically, this is how a vegetable dehydration facility would look like, which has been set up by us. There is a washing system. Then after that, there is a blanching system. After blanching, the product, the cut fruit or vegetable is passed through this tunnel dryer, in which it passes through multiple layers and is heated at a temperature. And what we get is products with moisture levels of less than 10%, which can give a shelf life of almost about 1 year. Similarly, fruits can also be dehydrated. So all the tropical fruits like mango, pineapple, oranges, there are different methods available. But typically in India, mostly what we do is we cut, slice the fruits. We vacuum impregnate them with sugar if required, otherwise directly also. And then there is equipments called vacuum dryers, which are next generation drying technologies for fruits and vegetables. Now, what all are we looking at? It can do all types of fruits and vegetables. In times to come, we also would be looking at newer technologies like vacuum freeze drying, vacuum frying, and microwave drying. These are the new technologies which all have already been introduced or absorbed in the Western countries, but India is still at the beginning of it. So as I see it, in the era of 20 to 30, I can see these technologies also coming in. And in terms of plant cost, it can start from as low as 15 lakhs and go up to 5 crores or plus, depending on the capacity, the process, and the products. Then we can also process the fruits and vegetables into ketchups, purees, jams, squashes, pickles. Here again, the process flow remains more or less the same. It is washed, it is pulped, it is cooked, and then it is packed. Here again, we look at multiple fruits, which is a very, very important thing to look at, that a plant should be as multiple fruit based as possible to make it as functional around the year as possible. So typically a plant set up for ketchup puree would be able to process almost all the tropical fruits, mango, pineapple, orange. The capacities here again we offer is from 200 kgs per hour in a smaller line up to 10 metric tons per hour on the higher side. Here
Bajaj,
again, yes, sir.
Bajaj, you have to wrap up. Yeah.
Sir. Yeah. So kindly give me, sir, I requested for 15 minutes. I just request for
okay, that. Another 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yes. I'll
fine. Sure.
Here again, the project cost would be between 15 lakhs to 5 crores, depending on the capacities. The fourth value addition that we can see, or we are already seeing, is the IQF technology. Here, mostly the vegetables are cut, sliced, or cubed, and then individually quick froze to see what we see. This revolution, if I may call it, was introduced by Mother Dairy in India. They brought about technology for IQF of peas. And as we speak today, I think there are about 250 or at least plus IQF units all over the country. And I see this also as one of the major torchbearers of food processing in times to come in the IQF. Here again, if you see, we can process peas, carrots, baby corn, and this gets year round the year demand, And here again, the project cost could be anything starting from about 4 crores to 10 crores, plus the refrigeration infrastructure that is set up by other companies. The fifth value addition that we can see in fruits and vegetables is processing them into juices. Now, juices also, we see there is a paradigm shift from carbonated beverages to health juices. Especially in COVID, we are seeing a lot of our traditional juices provided immunity. So if only we can process and package them to provide shelf life, that is where the mantra is. And this is where I see a lot of new investments or a lot of new ideas coming in. Here again, the packaging options vary from spout pouches to bottles to cans. And here again, the capacities can vary from 200 liters to 5,000 liters per hour. And the project cost can be anything from 30 lakhs to 10 crores. Now, in the fresh fruits and vegetables, we typically set up lines because we see a modern trade industry happening. So we see a lot of sorting, grading. Again, there is a shift from dependency on manual labor to an automation. And this is where companies like us come in. We provide automatic or semi-automatic sorting, grading, washing, and grading lines for all types of fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, to sum it up, why Bajaj? We are one of the most customer-centric companies, engineering companies in the world. As I said, proudly, we are 100% Indian-owned and Indian technology-based company with state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities. With 32 years of experience in this line, we make special emphasis on after-sales services. And that is why we've got our service centers in Guwahati, Hyderabad, Thiruvananthapuram, of course, New Delhi, and Ranchi. And this is how we are able to provide both sales and after-sales service for our customers. And we have a team, very strong team of about 200 plus engineers and professionals, design engineers. And with a customer base of about 600 plus, we are doing complete turnkey. And I hope that in times to come, we would be able to service the Indian food processing industry much more. With that, a big thank you to Dr. Saha for allowing me this time. And I hope I have finished in time. And yes, proudly so, we look forward to be able to contribute to the development of our great nation and making it Atmanirbhar. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Girish. I think you have given a nice overview about what really the food processing industry, the innovation is coming, and that to main is the Make in India product. I really admire the way you said that you are the only industry who has been really trying to cater the demand of the MSME segment and the cottage industry, and being an Indian industry, I think that's really mind-boggling, and this we have given a good lesson. As per the technology trend, I believe that yes, IQF, the freeze drying, I was training in my introductory remarks, the HHP, these are the high pressure processing. These are the few technology which is the next century it will be coming, and it's not much popular in Indian market, but yes, in Europe it's already been popularized, this technology, and yet to come this technology will come. And very happy to note that your company is also working on the same direction. And I'm sure with this new technology, the Indian food processor will be highly beneficial with the Make in India, the food processing machinery. Thank you very much, Mr. Kajish, for giving an overview about the food processing machinery segment. I just move on to the next speaker is our Mr. Vikrant Godwin, who is the National Sales Manager of Breyer Asia Private Limited. Breyer is a leading company of the dehumidification worldwide, the global solution provider for dehumidification and drying, gas phase filtration, plastics drying and conveying. And dehumidification is also required in our food industry in the food processing plant. So let's see from Vikrant. I would only request, please stick to your time within 10 minutes. Vikrant, if you can wrap up the whole thing, because we have with us our special secretary, Mr. V. Pradhan, the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India, would like to listen from Mr. Pradhan. So that's why please wrap up within 10 minutes time.
I'll try my level best, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. And thanks for sharing this platform with us. I'm thankful for all the panelists who have shared their experience, vast experience over the years that they have done the good job in the new trends and technology in the upgradation of horticulture and food processing industry. I'll just go through the basic presentation today, what we'll be talking about. It would be regarding the Power Group of Breyer India and then our network. then the air treatment range and application across the varied industries. After that, I'll be missing upon the operating principle. Then basically, I'll be more focusing upon the application of dry air in food processing, food drying, food packaging, and food storage. This is what we have divided the food industry into 4 parts, in which dry air or dehumidification plays a very vital role. And then we have the key products offering and some prestigious customers. That would be the reference list of ours. So starting with Power Group, it has been in India for the past 50 years now, and it has been into dehumidification system. We have nearly something around about 25,000 of installation, out of which we have 40% of installation in the food industry. And that would be basically into drying, into storage, and the various other applications in food. And we have been the leading manufacturers of dehumidifiers and solution providers for moisture control in pharma sectors and in the food sector. Going across, we have a worldwide network. We have manufacturing facilities, 9 in India, then we have in Malaysia, China, Switzerland, and Brazil. We have regional centers in Gurgaon, Kuala Lumpur, Shanghai, China, and Sharjah. We have 23 international patent applications filed for 13 new technologies, 49 patents granted and allowed already. And we have a 1,500 strong team that we have working for our dehumidification business. Now, the air treatment product range comprises of dehumidifiers. The dehumidifiers can be divided into 2 or 3 parts. Basically, one would be a tray dryer. This all is integrated with the heart of the machine named as the rotor. This is desiccant dehumidification system in which we focus more upon, rather than heating and then drying a material, we focus upon extracting the moisture from it. This can be divided into 3 parts, as I already informed. First would be the tray dryers. Second would be a small compact unit, which are off-the-shelf units, easily available and easily installed. And the third would be a system which would have been a complete system which will control the temperature as well as the humidity for any kind of a purpose, whether it's food, whether it's pharmaceuticals. These are certain applications that you'll find up our machines installed at. It consists of airports, automobiles, aviations, you name it, and we do it. It's as simple as that. We have a lot of installations in power, spray drying, pharmaceuticals, museums and archives, lithium batteries, leather. In all these industries, you'll find our installation, and we are supporting them to give a good quality product. Then these are certain examples of the applications that we have done in the storage sector. That is archives, vessel layup, turbine, cold stores, leather, capsules, jet engine. Then the production and processing, we are into pharma, as I already told you. Then we have in packaging, we are doing it for candy, jelly, chocolates, pharmaceuticals, fertilizers, garments, etc. Product drying, we are basically drying products for leather, coffee, tea, mushroom, investment casting, parachute. There are a lot of things that we are doing, a lot of applications that we are doing. So this is a basic operating principle of a desiccant dehumidifier, in which, as I already informed, that the heart of the machine remains the rotor, which is responsible to remove the moisture from the air, and this air is actually supplied to a place where you want dryness to be there. Like, for example, if there are leather or you have food items that need to be dried, so this dry air would be supplied through those food items, hence creating an atmosphere where the moisture from these food items would be evaporated. Now, what are the importance of humidity control in food industry? Food, some typical problems that we do find in food is product spoilage due to drying at high temperature, lumping on caking, hindering free flow of powdery foods, loss of freshness and crispiness, and various activity of microorganisms would be mold, mildew, fungus. And especially for export-oriented food industries, they need to comply with stringent requirements such as GMP, quality certifications, and hygiene and safety. So over there, using our dehumidifiers help them maintain that quality. What are the applications? As I already discussed, we'll be discussing 4 main applications in the food industry. First would be food drying. The best example for food drying would be a spray dryer, in which hot air, generally it's the hot air that is used for within a spray dryer, but if it is a dehumidified hot air, then the throughput of that would be more as compared to just using a simple hot air dryer. So basically what we are doing is we are installing a dehumidifier and we are bringing down the moisture of it. So throughout all the seasons, the airflow that you are getting would be at consistent moisture, and the temperature you can manipulate. So hence it would be saving you energy, as well as it would be giving you a quality product throughout the year. Then the second type of drying that we do is for seeds. This is to help the germination of the seeds. We generally take fresh seeds, drying at low temperature dehumidified air, and we bring the seeds out at 4 to 6% moisture. Results in uniform drying, better germination viability, and long shelf life. Then we have drying of yeast. Drying of yeast is basically done when the requirement of high quality yeast is required. Then we have drying of coffee beans. Now, the other application that comes for dryer would be in food processing. In food processing, it would be cooling tunnels for increased productivity, time saving, reduced wastage, better quality. Few beneficiaries would be Kellogg's in that. Then we have ground coffee. Now, if in case coffee is being coffee, or while we are manufacturing namkeens, if the powder or you can say the spices are being used, they generally absorb moisture and they form lumps. To avoid that, they use dehumidifiers so that these lumps formation is not there, and no downtime is there, increased productivity is there, and there is no adverse impact on the aroma or the flavor. Then we have in processing of chocolates, we do use dehumidifiers. Since chocolate is, they use bar, nuts, and it has sugar content in it, so it is hygroscopic in nature. So for that, what we do is we give a complete conditioned room in which the humidity as well as the temperature is controlled. Few beneficiaries from ours is Mondelez, Cadbury, Nestle, and Perry Industries. Then we have done a lot of work in hard candy as well. We provide dryer at 24 to 27 degrees Celsius and at 40% RH in the production area and in the coating pan. Hence, it will be helping the coating of the candies. We have in snacks and potato chips, as I already told you, we have done some work in Haldiram, we have done some work in Bikaner namkeen. What we are doing is the spices that are being put in the namkeen, that is being transported from one place to another, or they are using pneumatic conveyors in doing so. While doing so, we are providing humidified air so that no clogging, no lump formation of the spices happens, and there is a proper distribution of spices throughout the product. Then we have spices and contaminants. In this spices, we have done cardamom drying, we have done black cardamom drying, we have done a lot of drying in this. The only difference, generally what they do is the farmers nowadays are using solar drying, generally, which is the most common thing that you'll find people doing it. But when it comes to humidifiers, they'll find that the quality of this drying is far more better than what they are doing. Either they are using gas-fired dryers, or they are using heating ways so that they can dry the cardamom, or they can dry any spice in that regard. So that leads to loss of aroma as well as the loss of color of these spices. So keeping that in mind, if they go ahead and use humidifiers at a little of at a controlled temperature, the essence, the aroma, and everything is contact, and they get a better quality product. Moisture problems during coating. Everyone might have seen a coating pan. In this, the only thing that we are supposed to do is to provide dried air, and we provide dried air at a dew point of -2 degrees Celsius, hence improving the coating as well as speeding the process of coating. Now, the other application for dryer would be food packaging. In food packaging, Basically, it's milk powder, then we have coffee, then we even have wafers, chips, snacks, energy food or protein powder, hard candy, cereals, spices again, and then we have food storage. Food storage, we can define it into two parts, whether it's the raw material that we are talking about or it's the finished goods. These all need storage, whether it's biscuit and cookies, the raw material also needs storage so as to avoid any kind of fungus, mildew, or mold formation. And the end product also needs storage so that there is no sogginess, no inorganic corrosion or organic corrosion of any kind. In biscuit cookies, we do the storage for so as to sogginess, there is no sogginess once the finished product comes out. Storage of tea. If we do not store tea in humidified air, what generally happens is it is going to take in moisture, and then again we have to reheat. So the price of that tea would be less as compared to a tea which has been humidified and the shelf life of it has been maintained, or the moisture has been. Then we have storage of sugar. The best example of sugar, we can see it in our day-to-day kitchen.
You're going to close it, huh?
Yes, sir. Storage of sugar is the best example. We can see it in our day-to-day kitchen. Kitchen also, that there are lump formations, or there is a lot of moisture comes in monsoon. There are lump formation in the sugar. Hence, the storage of sugar becomes quite a big thing. People are not doing it presently, but yes, where there is ration storage in military areas, there they are storing salt as well as sugar in a controlled atmosphere. Then we have storage of dried vegetables. If in case anything has been dried and it is again exposed to moisture, it will tend to take in moisture at a faster rate. Hence, we are storing these dried vegetables into controlled atmosphere. That requires humidifier. Storage of coffee, storage of spices. The key product offerings from our side would be our compact FFB units, which I already told you. These are small compact units off the shelf available, just like a split AC. You just need to buy it and install it at your place where you want proper condition to be maintained. Then we have an engineering unit in which we have a complete system of controlling relative humidity as well as temperature. These are certain examples or typical photographs of our product. These are our engineered systems that we were talking about. Then this is also our industrial units, which will be taking care of temperature and RH both. Then this is a high-end unit that we are using. These are some of our prestigious customers world over. As I have already informed you at the starting of my presentation, you name it, we have done it. You name a company, whether it's food, whether it's pharma, we are available in it, and we have a solution for that particular industry. So that is all from my side, and I really think that we are able to achieve new heights, all of us together. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the invitation.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Vikrant, for keeping in time. I really understand that how much importance is dehumidification, because moisture is something which is very much important for the food product. At the same time, it creates problem in terms of the shelf life, in terms of stickiness and all, and there we need a dehumidifier to maintain the moisture content or humidity inside the processing line. Ladies and gentlemen, there is little change in our program, because we have with us our Special Secretary, the Senior IAS Officer, Mr. B. Pradhan, who is the Special Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Government of India, and he has to leave at 4:45. Sir, with your permission, we have rearranged our schedule. So before I invite you, I would invite Mr. Aditya Bagri, the Co-Chairman of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Agriculture and Food Processing Committee, to address to the gathering. Over to Mr. Bagri.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saha. Thank you so much, Mayank and all the eminent panelists. And on behalf of ICC, I would especially want to welcome Mr. B. Pradhan, who is Special Secretary for Ministry of Agriculture. And sir, it is a pleasure to welcome you and have you on our panel. We would love to learn and hear from you, and I really hope that you find this e-conference very, very useful. And I hope that we can continue doing the good work that the Agriculture Ministry is doing to boost and get India out of this current economic situation even much more stronger. So just sharing a few thoughts, given that we've had some very detailed and very insightful technical presentations. So my address is very limited to a broader qualitative level, and I cannot agree more at this time that the topic of technology upgradation, as well as new trends in agriculture, horticulture, as well as food processing, has been most pertinent. And I think, given the time and the period that we've all gone through of COVID, we've all experienced challenges that we might have faced because of technological gaps, or because of consumer behavior shifts, or because of disruptions in the supply chain. And someone very interestingly summed up the business potential post-COVID, or in this new situation where we are locking and unlocking, where all the businesses which deal with goods and services which reach a consumer's household are the ones which are protected, where consumers consume products inside a house. So be it fruits and vegetables, or be it staples, or be it foods, these are the businesses that are going to get us economically out of this current situation. And all the businesses beyond the confines of our house are actually the ones which are more impacted. And that is where it gives us as food processors a huge responsibility to drive the economy back up, right from the agricultural supply chain, from the horticultural supply chain, all the way up. And if our recent experiences are to go by, it is not just our colleagues who are large multinationals or who are giants, or it is not just the mega food parks in the space which have served the nation. They definitely have had their role to play, but the SME sectors had a very important role to play. And in that sense, the schemes launched by the Agri Ministry, the 1 lakh crore fund, or the Food Processing Ministry scheme for the MSME, is going to go a long way in developing MSME. Because when we talk about adapting to new trends, when we talk about technology upgradation, typically the view in food processing has always been economies of scale, where we're either developing mega food parks or integrated cluster units, or things where entrepreneurs often face challenges of scale. And I think that's one of the challenges that we need to break through. There are a lot of technologies available now at sufficient cost, and we had examples of some very good technologies available made purely from Indian manufacturers as well. So we have very high grade food processing and upstream, downstream technologies available that are made in India, and that can catapult the food processing ecosystem into driving India's economic growth. So once we talk about the supply chain, I think we have to look at the entire supply chain from farm to table, or rather, the way I look at it has always been from fork to farm rather than from farm to fork, because in today's time and age, it all starts from demand as to what a consumer wants, and then it should go backwards to what a farmer should produce. Many of our current agri challenges are more because it's farm to fork and not fork to farm. So I think one of the major interventions with technology and thanks to a very strong digital ecosystem is that we're able to assess consumer demand far more rapidly than we could ever do before. And that can actually be plowed back to our farmers. And there are lots of startups in the space who are working on farming based on consumer demand. So that itself is a major upstream challenge that we're trying to solve. On the manufacturing side, definitely post-COVID, we've all had challenges of logistics, labor. So we've all realized that it's important that we move away from a pure hub and spoke model to a decentralized model as well, where we're able to do local manufacturing and local distribution. And it's been a rise of local brands that have emerged out of this pandemic. And automation has been key, because while our entire objective is to employ as many people as we can, right from agriculture to food processing, automation and having the right process controls will be key going forward if we need to have lines that are sustainable and not disrupted by these economic factors like labor. And then as brands and businesses achieve scale, employment by itself will be generated further downstream, which is at the retail level or at the distribution level, where employment would be far more sustainable in terms of consumption. And when we talk about really downstream technologies, I would want to talk about the fact that now there is far more play for Indian brands to talk directly to consumer. So one of the big switches that have happened after the pandemic has been the emergence of strong homegrown direct-to-consumer channels that have emerged. So today, if there's a manufacturer of high curcumin turmerics sitting in Meghalaya, they can actually ship their products to any other part or consumers directly using direct-to-consumer websites, and that has really transformed the way consumers are actually buying products now. All of us might have switched our grocery purchase to either calling up our retailer and shipping it to our homes, or using many of these online grocers. So consumer behavior switch is one of the biggest advantages that we have for the food and agri MSME sector, right from delivering fresh fruits and vegetables to condiments to processed food, where we're able to actually deliver products made from the factory direct to the consumer, and that value chain is technologically very integrated. The other big technology disruption on the downstream side is the use of technology to integrate the retail kirana ecosystem that India has. So we've spoken a lot about cold chain storage. There's been very insightful presentations on air handling, food processing, and these are the areas which, as manufacturers, we must work on. But to strengthen our supply chain to consumer, we should definitely work on how we can deliver these products in an undisrupted manner, and that is only possible when we adapt to technology. So today we have Salesforce automation softwares which can actually collect orders at retailer level, where a salesperson can go and collect orders, take the orders via phone. The business, we are in the business of breakfast cereals and health foods. When the pandemic's been on the surge, we've actually had our people manage businesses virtually and not necessarily have to go out and collect orders. And that has kept a lot of fluidity in the entire system. And similarly, the kiranas are also now enabled with technology to be able to order through a lot of channels if they want a particular product. So IT will play a large role going forward in the entire food ecosystem. And as we progress further, as more large companies enter India, we will be able to offer technology traceability right from the farm, where a consumer would be able to identify which is the farm that has made its produce, whether it's a pack of cereal or whether it's a pack of health food. But farm gate level traceability is a possibility now, and that is something that we must explore. So without further ado, I would like to conclude this keynote address and pass on the baton back to Mr. Saha.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aditya Bagri, for giving an overview about what are really the importance. Now, all of us, we are just patiently waiting to listen from our special guest here, Mr. B. Pradhan, that is the senior IAS officer, the Special Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. Sir, we are really looking for you to listen from you. So may I request now Mr. B. Pradhan to address to the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shah. I think it will be, I am not prepared for this kind of a gathering. I could hear Sri Krishna ji, and then I could hear Mr. Bikran. So though I am not, privy to whatever has been discussed, but just some random thoughts or some, whatever given my experience of 33, 34 years in public policy. So this is basically, random thoughts coming to my mind. I will take you, now because of this COVID-19, the way we work, the way we manage a company, I think now we have to reorient it and revisit it. And if you look at the Atmanirbhar Bharat, and if you take the vision, say 2025, and particularly to agriculture, if I have to be very, very precise, in 3-4 lines, I have to tell that we must transform the farmers into agri-entrepreneurs. 2, make India the food basket for the whole world. And make agriculture as a go-to investment for a private corporate stakeholder. And if you look at the whole ecosystem at present, 80% of the investment is done by the farmer himself. Another 15 to 18% of the investment is done by the government. And if you look at the corporate investment, it is roughly 2 to 3% coming to the agriculture. Now the question is that why a private investor will come to agriculture or agro processing? That is the big question. Whether it is 1 lakh crore agri infra fund or promotion of the 10,000 FPOs or the reforms in the 3 ordinances which has happened during the lockdown period. This is the context we must look at it. Now, if you look at the recent initiatives, before 2 years, the budget was around say 40,000 crores of the Department of Agriculture. Now the annual budget has gone up to roughly 1,50,000 crores just in the Department of Agriculture. I am not mentioning about the animal husbandry or the fishery or the food processing. Therefore, what are the interventions we are looking into the sector? All of us must look towards sustainable and climate resilient agriculture. We know that the cyclones are happening, the excess rainfall is happening, the heat waves are happening. Given the extreme weather events, given the intensity and the frequency, we must prepare ourselves for climate resilient and sustainable agriculture. 2, we must look for the cluster-based kind of integrated development. Whether it is an export cluster, whether it is an organic cluster, all of us must look for one district, one product, whether it is the industrial side or the manufacturing side or the agro-processing. We must look towards clusters where we have the comparative advantage in terms of inputs, in terms of production, in terms of post-production, in terms of processing, in terms of linking to the farmer, to the market, or what Aditya was mentioning, whether it is a farmer to the field or field to the farmer. So if you look at how all of us as stakeholders, whether I am on this side of the table or as a food processor, as a stakeholder, how the bigger question is, how can we empower the farmers through whatever institutions or the public policy interventions? Now, the question is, can we ensure higher value realization through our technology, through our infrastructure, through our interventions, whether it is innovation or any policy intervention at the national level or at the state level or at the field level, maybe the district administration or the panchayat level functionaries. Now, if you take that technology or the digital India, if you go to that very ecosystem, the Honorable Prime Minister has said, if I remember correctly, the India tomorrow is equal to Indian talent plus the information technology. So IT is equal to IT plus IT. Therefore, the technology has a bigger role to play to minimize the post-harvest losses. I think one of the speakers was mentioning, suppose whatever is the production, we are able to process only 7 to 8%. And if I remember correctly, just I will take only one aspect of our agriculture ecosystem. 2014, horticulture production was 277 million tons. And the area being covered was 24 million hectares. Now, if you take 2019, 1920, the production is 320 million tons. And the acreage being covered for horticulture production, roughly 25 million hectares. So in terms of production, there is enough of production, there is enough of productivity, there is enough of surplus. Therefore, if you look at under the PM Garib Kalyan Yojana, we could afford to provide free food grains for 9 months, 8 months. So that is the contribution of the Indian farmer to the food security. Therefore, if all of us have a role to play, whether it is investment, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is institution making, or on the input side or on the post-production side, all of us have a role to play. And if I have to be, again, very, very precise and take little bit, we got the opportunity in the last century, but we missed it. India was left behind in the industrial revolution that swept the globe or the world in the last century. But all of us, whether as the corporate players or as the public policy or as the civil servants or as the farmers, all of us have an opportunity in this century. And all of us can build a knowledge society or a knowledge economy that is the sweeping the world today. And because of the COVID-19, how you are going to, revisit your workspace, how you are going to reorient your, the production unit or the factory unit has to be revisited and reoriented. And we must prepare ourselves to survive and thrive and succeed in a post-COVID-19 situation. Now, I will give you only 2 examples, whatever is coming to my mind in a random way. See, we Indians, when we go abroad, we excel. You take the name of Satya Nadella, or you take the name of, say, Sundar Pichai. They are leaders in some of the innovative companies of the globe today. And if you and me ask this question, why they are successful, similarly, there are several talents available in this country. Therefore, if you take the call of the, that stellar call of the Honorable Prime Minister, Atmanirbhar Bharat, it is not that, that we should be isolated or we should protect our industries. Basically, it has 2 components. We must be self-reliant in our own ecosystem in terms of our production, in terms of our consumption. Second, we must manufacture for the whole world. Therefore, given the potential, Indian agriculture can be the food basket for the entire globe. Now, if I have to say, conclude, and in my closing remarks, this much I will say that, this August gathering has enough of talent. And as leaders, as managers, or as investors, if you take artificial intelligence and the machine learning, these are no longer only words. It has serious implications in a post-COVID-19 world for all of us as stakeholders, whether as a civil servant or as a person sitting at the policy level, or as an investor who is looking to invest into the greenfield areas. For all of us, artificial intelligence and machine learning have a role to play in our profession and in our career as individuals, as citizens. Now, what will be the future of the work? It will be skill, it will be upskill, and it will be reskill. And at the end of the day, it is all and only about people. If you have to just say it is people, it is planet, and it is about partnerships. Whether the government and the private can make a meaningful partnership for the fulcrum, for the people or for the citizens of the country, that should be the driving or the motivation for all of us, who are participating in this virtual kind of a conference. Now, My last 2 or 3 lines, the leaders and the management must learn the ability to convey their message effectively, whatever may be the modus operandi or the mechanism. The technical skills and the data-based decision-making are going to play a critical role in times to come. And it is not only the problem-solving skills, but it is the ability to navigate this very, the ambiguous, the uncertain, the VUCA world, what they say, volatile, ambiguous, and this complex world. And COVID-19 is, testing all of us. We are living in uncertain times, and despite all our preparedness, there is uncertainty, and there is also little bit of ambiguity. We don't know what is the, the scenario for the next day. Therefore, as individuals, as entrepreneurs, as stakeholders, we must learn the rules of the game. We must be able to navigate whatever may be the challenges, whatever may be the uncertainties in our profession. Now, COVID-19 compels all of us, whether it is a child or whether it is a senior citizen, to adapt to the new normal. We must learn it faster. We must reorient ourselves to the best of our ability and sincerity. And at the end of the day, it is the challenges of the governance and the challenges of our role playing in this globe as a citizen and as a global citizen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. It's such a nice and emotional, inspirational, and a motivational comments. Very nicely you said that the world is really looking for the skill, upskill, and reskill. I think every time you are trying to emphasize about what is the talent is important. I believe, sir, you are trying to emphasize and boosting the individual talent, and which is really looking for the post-COVID-19 when we are entering to the new normal after coming out the world. Your volatility, uncertainty, and complexity and ambiguity, the VUCA solution, and go to the new normal, how really the individual of the society, individual of the planet is going to take responsibility to take care of them, to safeguard about the planet, and it will be a more responsibility to the individual. That's why you are trying to mention. You also said that technology and talent, these are the two important things which is coming. You also emphasize that how best we can really transform to the farmers to the agri-technical thing. The whole idea, what we could understand, that the entrepreneur who are involved with the food processing industry, they cannot work alone. They cannot work in isolated. They have to work as a team, and they have to get along with the farmer, and they have to really boost, and they have to really stimulate the energy to the farmers to become a technical oriented, and how the new trends and technology can be taken forward to make this country as Atmanirbhar Bharat. Thank you so much, sir, for your nice and motivational comments. And I'm sure all the participants here have listened to you. They will all agree with you that how much you have given your kind blessings to us. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, sir, to address to the gathering.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, we go on as our schedule. Now, I would invite the next speaker. He is Mr. Alpesh Patel. He is the founder and the managing director of NAC Packaging, established in 1993, has started packaging company in the name of NAC at Ahmedabad. And I know Mr. Alpesh, he is a governing body member of the Indian Institute of Packaging, where I spent for more than 3 decades. And he is also the chairman of IIP Ahmedabad Center. And I visited his plant. He does a lot of work for the oven bags for these food grains and so on. I think Mr. Alpesh is going to talk on the products, which is really important for the food packaging industry. Over to Mr. Alpesh.
Mr. Saha, this is Sid Nair. Actually, Mr. Alpesh could not join for some reason, so I'll be doing it on behalf of him.
Thank you. Thank you. Nair, you can go on.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Sid Nair. I'm General Manager, International Business for NAC Packaging Private Limited. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm glad that today we are getting along to bring some change for betterment in such key area of the Indian economy. Agriculture in whole is the real backbone of India, and due to this pandemic, everyone has realized it. I belong to woven packaging material manufacturing industry, and we are specialized in BOPP woven bags. Our facility is near Ahmedabad in Gujarat, which also contributes to growth of horticulture by enabling safe and sound delivery of the produce to the end consumer. NEC Packaging is a family-owned business, and the NEC Group is involved in various other business like mining, construction, various other packaging in India and abroad. Our experience of over 25 years has provided us with some key elements to consider, such as principles, quality, variety, and competitive prices. These key elements are the DNA of NEC Packaging. For better coordination between order and supply, we have implemented SAP S/4HANA, which is the best ERP tool in the world. Our manufacturing facility is ISO 9001:2015. It's FSSC 22000 certified, and we are also in process of getting BRC GS certification, which is one of the most valuable certification for food safety in the world. We are specialized in food packaging like grain and pulses, flour, seeds, and having various big brands associated with us like India Gate, Tilda, Procter & Gamble, Purina. We have a very strong market presence in all over India and have customers more than in 65 countries across the globe. Our major markets are United States, Latin America, Europe, and South Africa. We also have sales offices in South Africa and Mexico. In order to protect the material and add value to supply chain, we have come up with some various types of bags and features. To start with, first we have our main product, that's BOPP woven bags, which can help you with. The pack sizes we offer is from 5 kg to 50 kg. It's a complete material protection because it is fully laminated. Beautiful printing for branding, great aesthetic for presentation, can be offered with various finishes like gloss, matte, metallized, gloss metallized, matte and gloss combinations. This can be offered with inner liner for extra protection. We can also offer perforation so the product can breathe properly. We also offer side gazettes and printing for complete branding and proper styling on this bag. We can also offer handles so it can give a feel of a shopping bag and can also be reused. Second, and the latest in the industry, we have is pinch bottom bags. Our production facility is the second facility in entire Asia to have a machine for manufacturing of this pinch bottom bags, and this machine is the 7th most upgraded machine in the entire world. This product has certain standalone features such as leak-proof mechanism. Because this is without any stitches, there are no hole or thread on any side of the bag. This is the first time in woven era of the bag without any stitching, and it is closed by heat sealing on both the ends, top and bottom. It is having 6 sides branding, front, back, both the sides, top and bottom, also with attractive printing. It has a easy packing, handling and opening feature. For ease of opening, we offer a very unique peel-off easy opening. One can open the bag without any blade or knife. Also a very good safety feature. Can also be used as a recloser with peel-off easy open feature. One can avoid duplication. In the pinch bottom, you get an exact box type structure. It looks like a brick once it is filled. It has an astonishing aesthetics, very compatible with automatic filling lines, proper stacking and loadability increases, various types of perforation for the infilled product to breathe. Apart from some default features of this bag, we can provide you with various other optional features which could help you in long terms of material safety, customer engagement, marketing and branding. We believe in growing mutually, and to provide you an environment to grow and operate stress-free, we have got NEC Connect and NEC Elite portals to ensure nothing gets missed out of conversation and real-time tracking of the order progress from anywhere in the world with just a click. With this being said, I thank you all again for having me here. giving me chance to speak. I wish you all good health and success. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nair, on behalf of the NEC Packaging.
Yes.
I think we move on. We have a two speaker. I find here that one of our guest speaker has already joined, Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy, the Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, Government of Telangana. Welcome, sir. Very shortly, sir, we would like to invite you to address to that, but prior to that, there are two small presentations. I would first of all, I would like to invite Dr. B.V. Satyendra Rao, the Chief Scientist of Food Engineering Department of CFTRI Mysore. I believe that I am also an alumni of CFTRI. Satyendra Rao is involved in many departments like engineering service, technology, translation research, food protection, and safety. I would request within 10 minutes, if you can just highlight what are the new technology has come in the food processing has been developed by the CFTRI. Over to Dr. Satyendra.
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yeah, just, yes.
Are you able to see the presentation?
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay. Shall I move on? Yeah, thanks for the great opportunity provided. Without wasting any time further, I'll just get into what CFTRI has done in this area. Compared to the other presenters, I think I'll be slightly deviating from the norm today. I'll be mostly focusing on what the CFTRI has done. And so India has a great resource base, as we all know. So it's first in many commodities, second in many. And then there's a burgeoning population, and the change in lifestyle is driving the food processing. If you just look at the trends in food, so essentially we are looking at the trend for healthy foods, low fat, low sugar, low carb, high fiber, etc. Essentially, we are also looking at the guilt-free foods, the plant-based foods, the vegan foods, the meat alternatives. I think there was a question on this also in the QA group. And then the vegan kind of a milk, etc. We're also looking at protein-rich meat, fish. In fact, today only we just looked at India is not just looking at plant-based ones, and India probably will be getting into more animal-based foods also. Are we looking at even insect farming? So the convenience foods, in fact, CFTRI drove the revolution. And then what we did in early 60s and 70s is a multi-million-dollar business for the country today. Today, what we are looking at is extreme convenience, on-the-go foods. So whether we can actually heat and eat the food on the go. There is also a requirement for natural, fresh, minimally processed. I think this is where the trend is. We are looking for safe foods, always, whatever that we are eating at, even the temple prasadams. I think even earlier we used to close our eyes and eat temple prasadams, not anymore. So we are actually looking at even temple prasadams to have the labeling, and then we need to have the traceability. There is a trend for desi foods. We initially thought that it's the foreign foods that are driving, but the desi foods are becoming very, very important. The sustainability, the plastic that is being used, I think Dr. N.C. Saha would know the packaging, and essentially the plastic itself is being banned. So where do we go from here? What are the kind of a packaging that we do? So we look at food, nutrition, health, and immunity. I think these are the trends. These are the drivers. That's what we are going to witness. Just to look at the trend, I'm actually looking at this trend of CFTRI because CFTRI happened to be the first food processing technology institute in the country. Initially, it was community nutrition, protein energy malnutrition, post-harvest losses. Not that we have come over all these problems, but this is how the trend is. And later on in the 70s and 80s, the foods moved into the societal needs, the rural areas, safe food protectants, spirulina technologies, the export of tropical fruits, etc. Later on, the emphasis was on mechanization, traditional foods, and things like that. Later on, we moved to superfoods, etc. And this is some of our success stories. Amul, we all know, was the technology developed by CFTRI. Parboiling, using the hot water steaming process. 50% of countries' paddy is parboiled using our method. 30% of the paddy that India acceleratively ages is using the steaming process. That is also by CFTRI. A simple leaf cup machine, that was also developed by CFTRI, a destoner, a mini dal mill, the energy food which was used the midday meal in 8 different states, the spice oils and roller resins. These are some of the technologies. The virgin coconut oil, even today, the market is very big. Virgin coconut oil is not from copra, but it is from the coconut, the wet coconut, the wet processing. The idli dosa batter, which we all think is no technology. We know there is a company which has got more than 300 crores of technology, 300 crores of turnover just based on idli dosa batter. And then we have a minimally processed. The trend is for minimally processed, not super processing. And now Big Basket calls this technology as the CFTRI's Nutrilog technology, and this become very, very popular. The spirulina, the blue-green alga, the coffee concentrates, the dosamatic machine, the ragi mudde machines are some of these success stories. In fact, for this area, we have a machine, a hand operated machine, which can actually cut lemon into 8 pieces in one shot. So we actually pneumatically also improved it, which can actually cut 3,500 lemons per hour, which actually is into 8 is 28,000 pieces per hour. I think this is a kind of a machinery also that we have developed. As I said at the beginning, the new trend is for no preservatives or all natural preservatives. We have actually worked on such kind of a thing, especially in the bread and bakery. Lots of additives and preservatives are used. So we are working towards actually replacing some of those and still be able to get the kind of the mouth feel, the texture, and the shelf life. So we have breads and muffins with natural preservatives. Again, the question is on the low GI. So we have Indian parathas, which generally have a very high glycemic index of 70. You're able to bring it down to 53. And then there is always a big market for the enduring kind of foods. Say, for example, athletes, etc. We have a single format food that is developed for these kind of people also. We have actually tested it also, where we have looked at AMPK alpha, which actually is indicating to the great kind of input that it is providing. And there is a question already about the pomegranate arils. So we have a technology without using any chemical preservatives. The natural way we can actually have the shelf life of the pomegranate arils extended to about 18-20 days. This is something very, very new which the industry does not do. We have actually heard of green tea, but not many have heard of green coffee. Green coffee is just the coffee bean. In fact, the moment you roast it, the most important the antioxidant, the nutrition that is available in the coffee is gone. The chlorogenic acid is gone. So we have a method of extracting the chlorogenic acid from this, and then we have made the green coffee extraction. So this actually is all plus plus plus. So this is something very great that the market does not know. So we have a technology, and there is a technological barrier here. So just by hot water, you can extract very little. And we have a new method that is developed where your extraction efficiency is increased. You have a much better extraction of the chlorogenic acid. So this has become very, very important. So based on this green coffee concentrate, which is actually an intermediate product, you can actually have multiple level of products. You can actually have a carbonated coffee. So you can actually have the cubes. So very different variants of this is possible using the technology that's been developed. There has been a lot of discussion about the coarse grinds, the millets, the pseudo cereals, and the superfoods, because doctors suggest not to eat, say, rice and wheat. So what do we eat? Everyone has been, used to eating rice and wheat, but the problem is not with rice and wheat, but the way we consume it, because of the too much of refining, too much of polishing, removing about almost 100% of the bran and fiber is the problem. So we have come out with, of course, the methods for that also. And also we worked on the other alternate cereals and millets. And then we have come out with a lot of technologies for these things, and including superfoods like chia, quinoa, and the other pseudo cereals like buckwheat, etc. Then we also have a lot of products based on meat. So the variety is the essence of life. When it comes to food, it's more so because we would like to have all of our sense organs, kind of satisfied with color, the texture, the taste, etc., etc. We have a lot of products used, based on these kind of meat and meat-based things. We also have a technology for carbonated fruit juices. I think that was the call that was given by the Prime Minister. If we can actually have the zinc of carbon dioxide and also the nutrition of the fruits, then we will have done a good thing for the nation, for the farmers who grow it. So we have these carbonated juices based on apple, grapes, guava, lime, and mango. And the incorporation in these juices is about 15%. So this is actually a breakthrough where we are able to get carbonated fruit juices. So that's one important thing. Just to be offbeat, we also have come out with a product called a Hango, which is actually an anti-hangover product. Just trying to give the spectrum of product that CFTRI has developed in the recent years. So it's an anti-hangover product. That means people do get a lot of hangovers post the consumption of alcohol. So we have developed a product which consumed at 500 mg level will not have the hangovers. Not that this allows for more drinking. That's not the idea. This does not give them the opportunity to drink more, and this is not more sustaining that way. But what it does is the post drinking, whatever problems, issues that one would have will not be there by the consumption of this food-based products. Just to put a few products on fruits, because there is a discussion more on horticulture products. We have a lot of products like, say, banana wine. So in fact, there are a lot of demand from many states like Maharashtra, where we could actually use the actual banana, good quality banana, whether we could use the rotten or the not so good banana, whether we can get the banana based alcohol. So we have done a lot of R&D in this area. We're able to get a good quality wine and high efficiency in converting the banana starches into alcohol. And in fact, banana is a complete plant where even from the pseudo stem, we have a juice beverage that is developed. People do know that the banana pseudo stem juice is very good for the kidney stones, etc. We have a lot of products built around different commodities. I don't want to go into too many details. In the morning, it was also said that the juices, if there is the slices of the fruits, there is a greater acceptability in the product. We have made from most of the fruits, like the jam slices are incorporated in the juices, so it becomes more natural, and that is what the market is looking at. And then there is a dipping oil formulation for raisins. The drying also is very critical. Drying, of course, apart from the dryers that are used, if you could use some this kind of technology where it actually gives you the advantage of having improved specific heat. Because of that, you're able to dry it faster, and of course the overall quality of the product also improves. The similar kind of a technology we have done for the chili also. So we have a dipping oil for chili, and then we have osmo dehydrated banana. We can actually carry banana like that, and then many products based on osmo dehydration. So this actually gives you a good mouthfeel and good shelf life extension. There are a lot of clarified fruit juices, powders, and dehydrated products based on that. Just to cover the entire spectrum of the fruit, the food processing, I said that the way we eat rice is problem because of the sugar levels, the greater, faster, digestion, and then the conversion of the starch into sugars. So we have a technology where we can actually control the rate of digestion. So it's a physical process where, irrespective of the variety, we are able to reduce the digestibility of the rice by the processing. So which will be actually very good for the diabetics and the pro-diabetics. And then we have a technology for the artificial aging of rice, including basmati. Just to give a glimpse of the basmati kind of a plant, where you have a 5-ton plant working 20 hours a day just for.
Yes, switch it off. Yeah.
Okay. Say just for the convenience of multiplication, I'm taking 5 tons per day, 20 hours a day, and 300 working days. 2 tons into 5 tons into 20 hours is 100 tons per day, 300 days of working, 2 years of storage of basmati. The amount of money that gets into the inventory. We have a simple method without using steam, where you will get the same quality of the rice. So you don't have to store it for about 2 years, but within about a month we are able to give the same kind of the product quality. We have a lot of technologies for extending the shelf life of millets and millet products. The major thing that is troubling the millet farmers and the millet users and the processors is the shelf life itself. So we have a technology for improving the shelf life of the millets, whether it is the semi-polished or the polished millet and also the millet products. We have developed technologies for a lot of millets, but I don't want to go into too many details given
Yes.
the kind of time frame that I'm to work with. We have a technology for processing of turmeric. There was a mention of the turmeric, with higher curcumin content. We know in the turmeric, the way it is processed, the turmeric rhizomes are washed, cooked, and sun-dried. During this process, there is a lot of material loss, the leaching, and then any coloring material which is put into hot sun, a lot of color loss is there. So we have a method where we don't have to cook the turmeric. We'll slice it, dry it, and then convert that into powder, wherein we are not able to, wherein we are not losing any curcumin at all during the processing, and then the yield is increased by 1 to 1.5%. So this is a huge technology for the turmeric processors. And then technology for natural food colors, there is this growing demand for this. And then minimally processed pomegranate aerials that I've already spoken. And then this is the Nutri-Gel. So people are now used to fruit bars and fruit juices, fruit concentrate. Now this is a fruit juice in a ball form. So it's a gel. So if you take it, it actually bursts in your mouth. This is a great feeling to eat Nutri-Gels. This is a very new product that we have come. I've already shown the meat wafers and then the new kind of the fibers that are very important. This arabinoxylon technology is based on wheat bran, which is generally thrown and are used for feed purposes. There are a lot of technologies that we have in the pipeline. There was a mention of the technology, whether we can extend the shelf life of tomato by 1 or 2 days. I think in the question and answer QA, there's a question raised on the extending the shelf life of tomato. Yes, we have a technology for extending the shelf life of tomato in the tomato form. So we have a brine solution wherein tomato is put into a package. So it is in kind of an equilibrium and there is no loss, no gain for the tomato, either in the form of whole tomato or in the slice form. Extension of shelf life is possible for tomato. Again, there is a mention of the food. We actually take the food, put it into pouches, subject it to thermal processing, we get the extended shelf life. But when we eat it, do we get hard food? Not possible. So if you are, even though you have a food in your packet, you will not be able to eat it until unless you eat it. The way you eat it is you put it into hot water or put it into a microwave oven and then eat it. But on the move, you don't get it. So we have come out with a technology where, it's a pouch in pouch technology. The outer pouch has two chemicals which can be triggered to converting it into a self-heating or a self-cooling technology. I think that's great.
Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt. You may have to wrap up now because of the time constraint. Yeah.
Sure. So there is a lot of only point is I have a lot of technologies built by CFTRI and it's a continuous process at CFTRI, and a lot of things that we do apart from developing technology, we do hand holding for the startups also. We have some free technologies. We have an MSME corner. We do training, retraining, capacity building, hand holding. So we are there for the industry always. And then we have a lot of technologies, more than 400 technologies transferred to more than 4,500 companies. And then the small glimpse of our clientele is shown there. Thank you so much. So I have a lot to tell. 10 minutes is too small a window.
I know.
I've done my best.
It's
Thank
not,
you so much.
I told in the beginning, it's not really justice to call this such a interesting speaker here. I think the ICC will take care of the next time, will not be so many speakers. Thank you so much, Dr. Satyendra, for going this overall. What are the technology? I think in the horticulture and food processing, the huge technology what CFTRI has developed over the last 70 years. But there are very important things which is really the people will keep it in memories. You said a hango, how really the anti-hanging product. These are something you say the Nutri-Gel, which is the new trend is coming. The meat wafers, everybody knows banana wafers and potato wafers, but now you say the meat wafers are coming.
Just one point, sir. Just one point. We also have a fish wafer, which was released by Karnataka government.
Okay, very good. One of my friend from Pune last week, he asked me that coffee he wants to sell it in a capsule form. Look at this, demand is coming, and that's the biggest challenge for the food technologies. And of course, ultimately it comes to the packaging people how to do it. Nice to hear Dr. Satyendra for what the CFTRI is keep on doing a lot of technology. Thank you so much for your time. Sir, Dr. Janardhan Reddy, sir, can I take another 10 minutes, the last speakers, and then I would invite you. I have the last speaker here with us, Mr. Subhash Bhattacharya, who is also a CFTRI alumni, and he was the former managing director of Neramec. He is, of course, he has got a huge, I don't want to read out his, but at present, he is a consultant of a CFTRI at Guwahati. Over to Mr. Subhash Bhattacharya ji. He is going to cover about and the micro food industries for the development of commercialized horticulture. Over to Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Dr. Saha. Thank you, Dr. Saha. Thanks to ICC and All India Food Processors Association to allow me to speak. I think my presentation is visible.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be talking, of course, something different. I have been asked to speak on micro food processing in the development of commercial horticulture. So keeping that in mind, friends, before we reach to that, let us 1 or 2 minutes about on the country, how the food processing goes. All of us know India today stands poised as a major growth area. Fruits, vegetables, spices, herbs, and medicinal plants are the same for the day. And with better post-harvest technology, supply chain management, and processing, packaging, we can go and make it a global scenario. Horticulture is focused primarily on fruit and vegetable, and losses at every stage can be really curtailed by doing proper justification to the value chain processing and then packaging. How the sector is excellently good now. India's food and grocery sector is 6th largest in the world, and all of us know about its largest producer, consumer of spices, cashew nut. And if you see the food processing sector employs around 19% of total workforce in the country and 14% of total industrial output. So there is a huge ecosystem which offers opportunities mainly for investment and stimulating in the food retail sector. And segments of food processing, all of us know how the things are. Dairy, fruit and vegetables, and meat, fish and poultry are all together. The present trend, if we see, so we are supposed to talk on the trends, right? So during COVID and the post-COVID regime, chemical-free, herbal, and unprocessable, minimally altered, just now Dr. Satyanarayana Rao was talking, minimally altered foods are the brand new buzzwords among the health conscious people. And our new age client groups, they are driving the foods for the food processing technology on that line. Growing preference is to have more healthy options, like we have organic, all natural or traditional veg and fruits, very, very convenience foods, and then RTE, RTC with the go foods like immunity foods, which develops mental health. So all these are which are provoking the new technology, which will dominate in the coming days to come. And I wish the commercial horticulture, all of you will agree, is focused because of its high share in employment generation, increasing farmers' income, and then all these things are happening all through micro food processing industries pan-India. How do we see the status of micro food processing industries in the country? India's MSMEs base is 2nd largest in the world. We all of us are hearing for Atmanirbhar Abhijan schemes, 25 lakh unregistered food processing enterprise constituting 98% of this sector, and about 7% investment in the plant and machinery. Most of these people are family-based enterprises, which covers micro food groups. But the sector faces huge challenges, all of us know. The performance and developments becomes difficult because of the capital deficiencies, bank credit, lack of and skill part, which we have come to on the discussion in the last few speakers. Lack of branding, marketing, and inability to integrate the this food supply chain and the modern process technology really hinders them a growth. So strengthening this segment will lead to reduction of wastage, what Mr. Sridhara or Mr. Girish Bajaj was talking. So those reduction of wastage by strengthening this segment of micro food people create a huge opportunities for jobs and also aid the governments in getting this our wholehearted scheme of doubling farmers' income. So how do we see it? I think our moderator was talking in one sentence earlier. Prevention of post-harvest losses for perishable fruit and vegetable is the only attention to make a value addition in this sector. So how do we do this? What we have thought of the model operandi should be, that I think our Special Secretary, Dr. Pradhan Sir also was talking, development of commercial horticulture has to have a modus operandi. How do we go about? We have to have in horticulture scenario, collection accumulation center, followed by a pack house, then farm to market value chain, cold chain, and support the handling logistics. And all of us know under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, we have got Operation Green Scheme, which gives us 50% grant for transportation of the horticulture produces and also giving a support for the storage. Is a really added advantage. And moreover, all of you know earlier it was only for onion, potato, and tomato, and now it has come to all fruit products. That is an excellent issue, subject to our entrepreneur take the advantage of that. Then the second part of the modus operandi should be cluster linking with the PPC or the primary processing center, and then linking with the central processing center. The technology source can be done from CSA or CFTRA, my alma mater, then DFRL, IIFPT, NIFTEN. So many institutes are now there who can support in the processing. But one thing, the cluster concept is a must. Without the cluster concept, probably will not be able to take forward horticulture economy to make it a commercial horticulture. So for that matter, what do? We should have a cluster concept for sustainable development. For that, growers are encouraged to extract juice and arrange necessary thermal processing. Thermal processing is the first step which will take the horticulture produce at their own place of production to take it forward. And then we can go for getting semi-finished product at the primary center and go for central processing center for the multi-fruit product line, what even our Rajesh ji was talking, Rajesh Raghav ji when he was talking about the processing and Sri Krishna ji was talking. The strategy will be cold chain followed by micro level processing, mostly to cover the pockets of horticulture grown areas. Then options will be thermal processing at source, even mobile food processing if it is explored. Then go for thrust on juicing, RTD and RTS beverages, considering the present scenario when we have the advantage to make the COVID situation further. So this levels of value addition should be post-harvest level primary processing, how we do for cleaning, grading and packaging line. Then we can think of secondary processing like basic processing, packaging and branding. Then also high-end processing where complex processing of technologies of global nature can come forward and to take it. So what we should ensure to see that in case of horticulture produce, the prominent process items already we have discussed in a few of the speakers earlier. So those line of activities already there, pulp, juice, RTS beverages, coas, syrups, canned fruit, jam, jellies, preserve, candy, ketchup. Main thrust with the COVID situation we should go for is functional nutraceutical foods and go for those products like dehydrated whole slice turmeric, turmeric powder, ginger preserved candy and crystallized ginger having an export market also. Then go for some also IQF products and frozen pulps, frozen dried fruits. All these together, probably in a micro food level, the integrated chain has to be developed. See, only by developing the few processing sectors, industries here and there will not help. We have to ensure that the value chain production, value chain processing has to go together. For that matter, I'll just put one sentence or subject to the for all information that commodity-centric concentrated clusters and transformation of those clusters to farmer producers, which the government is boosting now, has to come forward in a very big way. And replacement of the seed and planting material for quality improvement is a must, followed by service providing, capacity building and all that for the farmers. Then go for processing. What we discussed about collection aggregation, then small transportation vehicles to collect them and pack it properly. Go for cold chain component, integrated processing. Go for basically superfoods, functional foods and smart foods, as well as nutraceutical, as I told you, to meet the present crisis. Post-COVID Indian food trend to be studied and strategy to be developed as functional beverages. I think that's not Dr. Satyanarayana Rao was talking about banana stem beverages. So like that, such banana stem waste beverages can be explored, or some functional beverages can be taken forward with good antioxidant, high polyphenolic flavonoids, source of fiber, with rich potassium, iron, zinc, copper, magnesium, etc. at this hour of the day. If we see the slides here, how the farmer producer companies are utilizing turmeric. I think our ICC organizer, Mr. Bhagia, was talking about turmeric from Meghalaya. So turmeric processing can really be in a very big way in this sector. Hello?
Yeah, you're closing. Yeah.
Is it okay? Are you hearing?
Yeah, hearing. Please, you just, please carry on.
The connection has gone, is it?
No, we are listening. We're listening. Please carry on.
Okay. My point of view is that once you go for processing, integrated production together, you need a value chain marketing, branding, leveling, and packaging. Dr. Saha, you were there packaging, publicity, and certification together and handling them properly has to have a big impact to take the micro food industries in a big way. Temporary hiring of space in premium markets for promotion of those product brand has to be developed in a very nice way so that the things can take it forward. And consumer awareness and information dissemination is a must to see that micro food processing industries grow up. And the government of India presently has come out with this very beautiful scheme for formalizing the Prime Minister's micro food processing enterprise, where the project cost to the limit of 1 crore has to be sanctioned, and for which you'll get a grant of 10 lakhs to the extent of eligible project cost of 35%. Besides this, you'll have other schemes like Operation Green Scheme, I just told you. Then SFSC Venture Capital Scheme is there. And a fortnight back, our Honorable Prime Minister has come out with the Agriculture Infrastructure Scheme under National Horticulture Board. Then PMKSY scheme is already there when you are talking about the food processing in general. The features and benefits of the PMFN scheme, just as our Secretary Sir was talking, adopts ODOP of each, one district, one product. Then centrally sponsored scheme go for supporting 2 lakh micro food processing. An outlay has been made for 10,000 crores for 2020-21 to 24-25. Out of that, a budget allocation has been kept provision for 10% for the northeastern states. Interestingly, the government is giving 60% of Indian states share in this, whereas for the northeastern state, there's 90-10 ratio. So this scheme has to be taken up by every sector. And that will really develop micro food industries. And then those micro food industries can link up with the central processing in a very big way. Supporting infrastructures will really be a big boon for the farmers and our agro entrepreneurs, what Secretary Agriculture Sir was talking. Some other incentives wise, we have already told about Operation Green Scheme. A free online skilling program has been developed for food processors. Ministry of Food Processing along with the NIFTAM and FIXI, they are putting up this, and they have identified 41 courses and job roles like baking, making jam, pickles, other products with access to digital content is being made. And I wish all this support should be taken. And probably Dr. Saha, I could maintain the time. And
Yes,
as
yes,
we all say today, be vocal for local. I put a single word here as a technologist with a food safety protocol. We can really make a win-win situation. Thank you all. This is my sincere thanks from All India Food Processors Association and Indian Chamber of Commerce to give a slot to discuss. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you so much, Mr. Subhash Bhattacharya. Within a 10 minutes time, you have covered the entire importance about the micro and small entrepreneurs. At the most mind-boggling figure, what you say, that 25 lakhs of unregistered company who are involved to the food processing in India, and they need to be fueled the all kind of facility. They have to take these all different kind of schemes so that they can really do the value chain marketing, what you say, the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a fact, sir.
And so on.
This is a fact, sir. This is a fact.
Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to invite our special guest here, Dr. B. Janardhan Reddy, the Indian Administrative Service. He is the Secretary of Department of Agriculture and Cooperation, the Government of Telangana. I have a great pleasure to introduce to the audience. Dr. Reddy was awarded the Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in the Public Administration for dedicated himself to the cause of citizen in implementation of 2 BHK housing program. He was also been awarded the Telangana Excellent Award in 2018 for the same project. He has also been instrumental in bringing accolades to the Hyderabad city at the national stage by achieving the award called the Best State Capital in the Solid Waste Management in such action in 2018. Dr. Reddy was one of the very few invitees chosen by the Office of President of India to share his experience in the prestigious National Roundtable on Innovation in Public Service Delivery and received the President of India Award for the best community mobilization and poverty reduction in the urban areas. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Reddy has been appreciated by the celebrated film, the star Amir Khan in the national program called Satyam Bajate for his efforts in the urban solid waste management. He got an appreciation by the Election Commission of India as the best election officer of the district, introduced in 50 reforms for improvement administrative efficiency in Anantapur and Warangal district. With this, I can just sum up that Dr. Reddy, who is with us, he is a person with a rich and varied experience in the development administration, covering rural, urban, women and human development, housing and poverty alleviation issues, to a few names. With this, I have a great pleasure to invite our special guest here, Dr. Janardhan Reddy, sir, for your kind address to the audience. Thank you, sir. Over to Dr. Reddy.
Good evening, Dr. Saha. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Acha, okay. Good evening. Sorry, because it is very, very difficult for us to participate between 10:30 and 5 o'clock, because some contempt case will come, some visitor will come, some VIVP will come, some meetings will be there, phone calls will be there. That's why I'll feel it very convenient to attend such meetings after.
Sir, you are mute. Yeah,
meetings, but in our hand. So all of you have participated, and I had the opportunity to listen to CFTRI and the next speaker. So only 2-3 points I can tell from Telangana point of view and country point of view also. Between 1999 and 23, there was an occasion in US where they had to deal with surplus, maybe wheat and maize at that point of time. And now after about 100 years, country in certain crops, our Telangana state has also moved from state of scarcity to state of surplus. For last, in fact, 1 year, we have been struggling how to deal with the plenty. Problem of plenty is not an idiom and phrase. It is a real problem. I had to undergo a lot of sleepless nights in last 6 months. I am just 6 months old in this particular department. I was earlier in other departments, but I never thought that surplus production also will cause sleepless nights to the administrators and also the public representatives. It is true, coming from my heart, and I suffered it. That is because we are producing more than what is required rice. We are producing more than what is required maize for us, and also we are producing more cotton, what is required in the country and the world and for us. And we are surplus in certain vegetables, and we are surplus in certain fruits also at certain seasons. On one side, we have achieved, as all of you know, the food security level, but we have yet to achieve nutritional level, as all of you know. So then the purchasing power of the people has increased, and they have moved from vegetable cereal eating to non-vegetable and pulses eating, etc. The food habits are changing, and lot of value-added products. I am told around 1200, more than 1200 products can be made from the maize. So, but in India, only 60% goes for the poultry, another 20% or so goes for distilleries, for alcohol making, etc. And another 15-20% it goes for starch making. So maybe less than 1% goes for eating, and also less than 1% for popcorns, etc. So each product multiple ways. Raw maize cob, if you sell it, it is 5 rupees. Just to boil it, it gets 25 rupees. That is the value addition by making subjecting it to some heat, and its value is increased 5 times. So similarly, with the taste changing, with the purchasing powers changing, with the abilities of our farmers increasing and producing so many crops, variety of crops, etc. Now all of us have to think together individually by the entrepreneurs and also the industry and also the research institutes and also the public representatives and bureaucracy alike, and come out how to increase the income of the farmer. It took 22 years in the past to increase the income of the farmers at constant prices. So those who are working in the farm sector for the equal work, their wages are 25% of what they get if they work outside the farm sector. But around 50-60% of the population, directly or indirectly, wholly or partly, they are dependent on the agriculture. The productivity is still less, but with whatever productivity level we have achieved, we are slowly moving from scarcity to surplus state. So therefore, the surplus has to be utilized within our state, within our country, to increase the nutritional status, number one, and also to add value to the produce, number two, and also to increase the employment, number three, and also to reduce the intermediaries sometimes, number four. Therefore, the recent introduction of FPOs and also the interaction between the industry and also the agriculture department, universities, etc. It's a welcome move, and it is a right time for us to think about the value addition of the food processing. Some of the statistics are sprinkled here, and much more possibilities there. So now with 60% of the people depending on agriculture, purely if you see from agriculture point of view, not more than 6 to 7%, and primary sector not contributing more than 13-14%. In some states like Telangana, of course, 18%. But it also includes not only agriculture and then fish culture, and also the mining, etc. Together, primary manufacturing sector, primary sector is contributing around 14%, etc. So there is an immense scope to increase the productivity and also to add value and to also increase the incomes, and also to cater to the needs of the changing tastes of the young generation, number one. And nutritionally also there is a lot of sensitivity. People are nutrition conscious now, not the bulk food conscious, but therefore to cater to all this, a very urgent need is that for all of us to think together and then come with products and the financing agencies also, like bankers, like NABARD, with various initiatives taken by various governments and the government of India also. We have to cater to the needs of the consumers too. I think I am extremely thankful for the organization, Dr. N.C. Saha, for giving me the opportunities. I could not be there right from the beginning because at least 4 Zoom conferences I attended today, and 100 files I had to dispose of. 100 more are waiting here, and some 10 people are waiting outside. So please understand our pressure, the problem of plenty, and also problem of plenty of problems. We are surrounded. Therefore, I could not participate for the whole season. But if any time, if it is because bureaucrats will be free after 6-7 o'clock or on holidays, we don't mind participating. Between 10:30 and 5 o'clock, there will be a huge pressure for our time. So we cannot spare more than that. I am extremely sorry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We could understand the kind of pressure, and that too in this very challenging time. We always say it is a testing time for the country, not for the country, the entire world. And we could understand how the bureaucrat is getting the pressure from the all sides. So one thing was very nicely you mentioned that Telangana state is no more told as a scarce city, it's called more on surplus state. And that's the beautiful what you say, whatever the surplus, this need to be processed and give the delivered to the whole nation. There are many people are getting hunger. And one important thing, the processing is important, because the statistics say around 25 to 30% losses due to our facility of the storage facility and processing. So that if you can really reduce this wastage and loss, and that becomes very important. Thank you so much for telling about what's really the Telangana state in a rich state, how you're doing and how you could make it a surplus state to us. Thanks for your time and thanks for your joining with us. And we are really motivated by your good comments to this presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Now, Mr. Bagri. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Bagri, you are here. Yeah,
yeah, just I need to add, sir. Thank you, sir. We would like to work with you, sir, and for your state, for any pertaining issues and also for any sector, sir, from Indian Chamber of Commerce. Sir, we will be in touch with you and we would like to work with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Certainly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Over to Dr. Saha.
Yeah, Madhuparna, is there any time for question answer or?
Yes, sir, we can take 4 or 5 questions because there are a lot of questions. So no, the experts are there with us.
Yeah.
So we can take some questions.
I could see in the screen there are 64 questions.
69, sir.
64
there are 69.
Take another 1 day. So we cannot take it. So I have taken few of the questions and I think we can take 4 or 5 questions. The first questions, I think this is related to the cold storage. And I know who will be, maybe the Rakesh Raghav or yes, you have to say, because the questions to you, why the cold chain is called green cold chain? Does every district has its own RCC? Over to Rakesh Raghav. Yeah, you are mute. You are mute.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
The question regarding cold chain, why this cold chain is required?
No, the question is why the cold chain you have mentioned green cold chain? Does every district has its own RCC?
Correct, sir. The cold chain, everybody knows regarding cold chain, but the green cold chain we added because of environmentally eco-friendly gas, ammonia or CO2, but which is ozone-friendly gas. I have given in my presentation one slide of gases, ammonia, one slide of gases. That means that by that you can say how global warming other gases creates. It is less than 1, and they are 3,850, 3,000, 2,000, something like that. So we call it green because of natural refrigerant, green cold chain.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the next question, it goes to Mr. Sri Krishna Uzarkar. It's related to processing. How different is the pulping line if we want to do a frozen pulp?
Okay. So to answer your question, the initial extraction line remains same. What we are going to do, so instead of packing the pulp inside the cans, that is what we call as a canning line or aseptic pulp, we can take it to the frozen line. So the initial line remains same. So we can have option of packing into frozen ones, canning or aseptic pulp. I think that's the question. Yeah.
I think this question relates to Subhash Bhattacharya because he is the expert in the Northeast.
Yeah. Mr. Saha, I can add to it.
Yeah.
I can add to it.
Please.
After this pulping, we can froze it. We can frozen it.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. This question goes to Mr. Subhash Bhattacharya. Can anyone from the panel, he said mainly to Subhash, can guide us the prospects of preservation and value addition of Assam lemon?
Yeah. Anybody wants to talk about the Assam lemon? We have many range of products out of that we can make. Particularly, we have, as Dr. Satyanarayana was talking about different process line. So that way, we can think of making lemon juice, lemon pulp, lemon concentrate, all this is possible. But Assam lemon as a whole, it can go very well as a fresh lemon because that is getting a more valued across pan-India. What we have also, my earlier work where I was working with Narana, we also tried to support Assam lemon people, farmers, and we used to service them more as a fresh lemon, which has got very good market in Kolkata and also beyond. So probably Assam lemon as a fresh fruit, it can go. Otherwise, you can go for any other products like lime and lemon, you can go for making processing and value addition for that.
Okay, thank you. I think this can be answered by Dr. Satyanarayana. The question is, I want to know that how can I process mushroom for longer period and also for processing unit setup cost, area, cover per unit area. I think you and Uzarkar or maybe Bajaj can give this answer. Dr. Satyanarayana.
Hello.
Yeah, Satyanarayana. Yeah.
Ways in which shelf life of mushrooms can be improved. The first important thing is just to dry it. That is the way that's how it is done worldwide. But we also have developed some minimally processing things where the shelf life extension is not too much. So where we have looked at the respiration rates, the moistures, etc. So we are able to control that, say under cold conditions, looking at the micro environment within the packaging, and we will be able to manage the micro environment within the packaging, and we will be able to extend the shelf life, but not too much. So essentially, the normal shelf life extension is into 2.5 or 3. So if the mushroom stays for say 3.5, 4 days, we will be able to go up to 10 days. So depending on the variety also, they're very seriously variety specific, and the moisture is very critical. Okay, so I think this is what I had to say from the minimal processing point of view.
Thank you. This question, Mr. Sri Krishna can say, is there any frozen vegetable IQF processing units in Kerala or Tamil Nadu or in Mysore area? Because there are a lot of queries and requirements from buyers from the Far East, Europe, in US and Gulf area. We have been checking in Tamil Nadu and Mysore, but unable to get a response. And few names of IQ processing center, please provide the guidance. You would like to address or Dr. Satyanarayana?
Let Dr. answer first.
Yeah. Dr. Satyanarayana, IQ, if you want to say.
So if it's a commercial unit, we will be able to provide the details, whatever that we have. But we do also have an IQ facility at CFTRI. So initially they can use our pilot facility and then do a little bit of standardization and see that the product acceptability is okay. Then I think they can explore further on installing their own. But we will be able to give, if any supplier can provide more details, it will be okay. Otherwise, we can actually scout for that information and provide the details.
Okay, this is the last question. The question is, can we get the curcumin turmeric process technology? I think Uzarkar, you can address.
Yes, definitely. For curcumin processing, what we require is the scale of operations. If the scale of operations is quite good, it will be more financially viable. So we will be trying to understand what is the kind of capacity he's looking for.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all the panelists and all the speakers for your very informative session. And I will request the ICC to, I am sure that Madhuparna has commented, it can be circulated all the PowerPoint presentation to the audience, and that would be very much beneficial to all of them. So now I would request over to Mr. Bagri.
Dr. Saha, thank you so much for moderating this session. I think in the beginning, we were not able to introduce you, and sir, your experience and guidance has been invaluable in running through so many expert panelists and dignitaries from the government. So Dr. Saha is former director for Indian Institute of Packaging, IIP, and chairman in the Government of Netherlands. So thank you so much for being our moderator for the day. This session was indeed one of the most insightful sessions we've had of late, because all the sessions that we've had prior have spoken heavily about the challenges we faced in the pandemic, how to navigate through COVID, what are the needs and the asks from the government. When I hear Dr. Reddy speak and accommodate time through such a hectic workday, we're indeed grateful for a gentleman like him to come and serve the nation in such an inspiring manner. So it's our sincere thanks to Dr. Reddy and the Telangana government for taking time out to come to our session, along with all the other technical speakers. It has indeed been a very, very insightful session, right from understanding what can we do to process our vegetables better, from the point of view of compressing them into cubes, to cold chain storage technologies, to initiatives taken by the government, the very inspiring speech by the Special Secretary.
So I think we should have a photograph of all the panelists, sir. Doctor, sir.
I think Madhuparna ji, we can do a virtual photograph. I believe this is being recorded, so we can have a recorded aspect of this shared with all the panelists.
Yeah, yes. We have recorded everything, and also the photographs also we will share with everybody.
Yeah.
And it will be digitally done. Okay. Okay.
Great.
Not as a physical this thing, but very soon we will be starting the physical events, and that time also we would require your presence, everybody's presence and support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Aditya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Dr. Saha.
I thank
you,
all our panelists and also all our sponsors for today's session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Yeah.
Thank you, Madhuparna ji. Thank you, Dr. Saha. Thank you, Satyanarayan Garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya ji.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
छोड़ो
क्वेश्चन आंसर फार नहीं आले